taxes, your truck, and your road to success in the trucking industry. This is Trucking Business and Beyond, the show that puts the money where it belongs, back in your pocket.
Welcome to my world, and Happy New Year. This is our first long show of the new year. Excited for 2018. The website is letstruck.com. The show is all about the business of trucking. We'll take your calls and answer your questions about trucks, money, fuel mileage, maintenance, tires, taxes, which is our big issue today, maintenance, all kinds of things. If you've got a question at all, pick up the phone, give me a call. I'll do my best to get you an answer. We are going to focus on taxes today. I'll take questions on anything you want. But there's a lot going on in the industry. There's a lot going on in the economy. There's a lot going on in taxes right now. And there's a lot of confusion. I want to try to help straighten out some of that confusion. If you want to join me today, if you've got a question, 8888 Road Dog will get you in. Pretty sure the phone lines are going to be busy today, but keep dialing. So here's what I want to do. I want to start off with making sure you understand that all this talk about tax that you're hearing from me, from the industry, it's all over the magazines, all over Facebook, the new tax law changes have nothing to do with the tax return you are getting ready to file. So nothing changed. You know, per diem right now is the same, depreciation's the same, everything is the same as it was last year. What we're talking about are the tax law changes that took effect on January 1st of this year, 2018. That's what will affect the tax return you file this time next year. It could also affect your check this year. If you understand it and you're an employee, you might be able to adjust your withholding. If you are an owner-operator and you understand this, you can adjust your quarterly estimated taxes. Owner-operators, definitely taxes are going down in 2018. I've run every single group that I can think of in owner-operators. Single, married, divorced, filing joint, separate, head of household, make $25,000 a year, make $100,000 a year net. Everybody got a tax break. Unfortunately for the drivers, employee drivers, not so much, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. What I want to help you with first, though, is getting the most out of your 2017 tax return, paying the least amount of tax possible or getting the biggest refund you can. That's what we need to be focused on right now. Then today I'll also help you with 2018. I just want to keep the confusion separate. So when you hear me say something like drivers can't deduct per diem anymore, that's not till next year when you file that tax return. Although, the reason I'm talking about it right now are there are things you can do because those tax laws are in effect right now. It's just confusing because we're also filing last year's tax return right now. So I've seen a lot of people get very confused about that. The tax return you are getting ready to file right now, the rules are exactly the same. Nothing has changed. Then we'll talk about what's changed for right now, for the calendar year 2018. So, first of all, let me just cover company driver. It's pretty quick. There's not a lot. The biggest issue for company drivers on their tax return is making sure your tax preparer understands per diem. And there is a huge problem with this. I would say over the years that about 7 out of every 10 tax returns I've looked at for company drivers, the per diem's done wrong. And here's why. A lot of company drivers tend to use the big tax firms, H&R Block, Liberty, all of those. Jackson Hewitt. For fairly simple tax returns, they're fine. They do okay. But if you understand their system, they basically all run tax schools in the fall. So last September, October, November, they were doing tax classes. those are the people they hire to do your tax return this year. Now, usually the office has somebody who is either an enrolled agent or a CPA that is supposed to review everything, but tax return get really busy in the middle of tax season. By April 15th, everybody's slammed. Mistakes are made across the board. Reviews aren't getting done the way they should be. That's just the nature of this business. So what happens, here's why per diem is such a problem. Everybody in the country, individuals, businesses, everybody, there are per diem rules. Per diem is nothing more than the expense for meals when you are away from home on business. That's what per diem is. Per diem is Latin for per day. So it's just an allowance that they give us to deduct our meal expense when we are away from home on business. Well, everybody who travels for business gets to take that deduction. You could also deduct your actual meal cost. You would keep all the receipts for meals, food, tips, all that. It's a major hassle, and especially in trucking, they give us such a generous allowance that you would be insane to ever think about taking the receipts. But here's where it gets confusing. There is two different sets of per diem rules. One applies to almost everybody, and the other set of rules applies to a smaller group of people, and it is anybody that is subject to DOT hours of service. So truck drivers, railroad personnel, airline personnel, things like that, bus drivers, they have a different set of per diem rules. Well, if you don't know that second set of rules exists, and a lot of tax preparers just don't, then you walk into a tax firm and you say, I want to get my tax return done, and they start asking you questions, and you say, hey, I know that I qualify for this per diem thing. Everybody talks about it. So, and the tax preparer will say, oh, yeah, don't worry about it. I got it. Well, if they go use the regular per diem rules, you get screwed, because the rules we have for hours of service is much better. But you have to know they're there, and you have to use them. Other than that, for company drivers, most of the time, the big firms will probably do okay. Most company drivers don't have really complicated tax returns. There's not, huge investments and trusts and a lot of real estate. And so most of the time, the big box tax firms do okay. But I see them screw up per diem all the time. I see local CPAs screw up per diem. If you don't deal with trucking, you may not even know that other set of rules exist. So that's really my single biggest piece of advice to company drivers. Make sure you're working with a tax preparer that understands per diem. Now, that's 2017. I'm going to come back to company drivers for 2018 because there are major changes you need to be aware of. And the sooner you're aware of them, the better off you're going to be, because it's affecting you today, right now. Now, I'll talk about that in a little bit. Owner-operators, much more to talk about getting ready for your 2017 tax return. And here's why this is a problem. Most owner-operators have been company drivers before. Tax return's not that complicated, no big deal. They become an owner-operator, they still treat it the same way, like it's no big deal. You will lose hundreds or thousands of dollars a year in taxes if you don't do this right. If you don't have a good accounting system, if you don't have a plan, if you don't keep track of things throughout the year, if you don't have a good tax preparer who understands trucking and is working with you to create a plan, not just waiting until you bring in all your stuff and then say, here's your tax return, here's how much you owe, but they're actually working with you throughout the year to help you create a plan. That's what you need to be doing. Here are some of the issues you need to be looking at. First off, get organized right now. There is not one more day to waste. I started back in October, just like I do every year, saying if you're an owner-operator, start getting your accounting together. That was October. This is January. Don't put this off one more day. Every day you wait, you're increasing the odds that there's going to be a mistake, that you're going to get an extension filed, that you're going to end up paying penalties and interest, that you're going to miss deductions. Don't wait to do this. So find a tax preparer. Get on this right now. Start getting organized. Get all your receipts together. If you have an accounting system, you should be done. You know, if you're using profit gauges, our software, you could be done by now. If you're not using our software, we're going to let you use it for free for all of 2017. You can't beat that deal. When we come back, I'm going to talk about the things you need to get together, the things you need to check, and a whole list of deductions that 95% of owner-operators never take. And you've already spent the money. You're just not going to take the deduction because you don't know about it. And your tax preparer didn't tell you. We'll be right back. Stick around. I'm Kevin Rutherford.
The College Football National Championship plays on Sirius XM.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Intercepted Alabama. Mac Wilson, he's going to take it in.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Got a block for Brock. Touchdown. We're headed to Atlanta.
Kicking off Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And ESPNU Radio 84 has live on-site coverage from Atlanta beginning at 7 a.m. Eastern. They'll take you on the field and into the locker room for college football's biggest game. Play-by-play and unmatched coverage is on ESPN Radio Channel 80 and ESPNU Radio Channel 84.
Message and data rates may apply.
Guys, this may be the last time you ever have to think about hair loss. Because I'm telling you, Bosley is the real deal. They're giving men their hair back permanently. Their real hair. All it takes to get started on the hair gain train is a single text message. You'll get an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card when you text KIT66 to 85850. Check them out now. Bosley will show you for free how great your hair could look. Dude, this isn't your dad's hair loss treatment. People all over the country trust Bosley because they're America's #1 hair restoration expert, ahead of the curve with the latest technology. And the best part, Bosley's solution is permanent. You're going to love what they'll do for your hair. So drop what you're doing long enough to send a text. Get your free information kit and gift card for $250 off by texting KIT66 to 85850. Don't forget, that's KIT 66 to 85850.
If you're not incorporated and you're a truck driver, a cafe owner, a construction contractor, a real estate agent, a consultant, or any small business owner, then you are at risk. If someone sues and you're not incorporated, you could lose everything. Your home, your car, even your personal life savings. That's why Incorporate.com is now giving away a free incorporation toolkit to all business owners, including exclusive information on how to start and grow your business. For your free incorporation toolkit, call now. 1-800-700-8123. Incorporation is the shield that protects your personal assets. Without it, you could lose everything. That's why at Incorporate.com, they just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. They don't provide legal or financial advice. So if you're a personal trainer, a travel agent, or run a tech startup or any small business, call now for your free incorporation toolkit. They're giving them away for free at 1-800-700-8123. That's 1-800-700-8123.
Get ready for the biggest sale of the season at Neiman Marcus, featuring the designer names you love. Starting Tuesday, January 2nd, shop and save up to 70% on thousands of items, including select women's and men's clothing, shoes, designer jewelry, children's clothes, and items for the home. Visit your nearest Neiman Marcus store or NeimanMarcus.com to save on new looks for the new year, now through January 13th.
Landline Now, weekday, 7 p.m. East. We report on pretty much everything trucking. We are very balanced, accurate, specifically for the driver. Landline Now.
Welcome back. I'm Kevin Rutherford. The number to join us, 8888 Road Dog. So I'm going to go over a bunch of things, both 2017 and 2018. Clearly, you could take notes, you could record this, but I am also working on I'm actually writing a book. Not going to be a really big book, but we'll be able to distribute it as an ebook, but it's much more than an article. I started this week writing an article to help everybody with this because I want to get it in writing, but it quickly grew to much, much bigger than just an article. So I've got examples and charts, and it's my number one project right now because it's timely. I've got to get it out. So we will be helping you with a lot of this information real soon. We're going to have a lot of resources for you. But I want to get you started because right now, you need to be doing this right now. One of the biggest mistakes I see that owner-operators make if they're leased to a carrier is that they trust the 1099 that the carrier issues to them. I can't tell you how many times those 1099s are wrong. And it's not intentional. They're not trying to cheat you because I've seen them wrong both ways. I've seen them say that you earned less than what you really did, and I've seen them say you earned more than what you really did. The mistake is almost always a software or accounting error somewhere in the company. But we see it a lot. Well, here's the problem. Let's just say, especially now, our numbers are getting bigger and bigger because rates are going higher. Owner-operators are grossing more all the time. It's not unusual to see an owner-operator gross $180,000 or $200,000 right now. Well, let's say you don't have an accounting system, and most owner-operators don't. Do you really know the difference between whether you grossed $203,000 or whether you grossed $195,000? You're not going to know the difference without an accounting system, I can promise you. It's hard to find that $8,000 if you have an accounting system. But if you only grossed $195,000 and they issue you a 1099 for $203,000 and you just trust it, you just paid tax on $8,000 that you never received. That happens over and over and over. When I designed our Profit Gauges software, this is one of the biggest issues I thought about. I want to make sure it's drop dead easy to check that 1099 against your accounting at the end of the year. And it is. In our software, it's a breeze. But I don't care what software you're using, or if you're using no software, you need to, at the very minimum, go through all of your settlements. And here's what you have to find out. And you probably don't know this. Somewhere on your settlement is a number that shows up every week. It could be called all kinds of different things, though. Somewhere there is a number. And if you add that number from every settlement, you should come up with the same number that's on your 1099. And if you can't, then you have to get with your settlement department and figure out why not. You don't want to pay tax on money you didn't get. This is the single biggest mistake I see with owner-operators that are leased to carriers. With owner-operators on their own authority, the biggest problem I see there is they don't have an accounting system. They have no clue how much money they made. That's really a problem. That requires you to get a good accounting system and make sure you're doing it correctly. But the problem with owner-operators is they just trust the carrier. They don't have a system, so if the carrier gives them a 1099 and says, this is how much you made, they trust it. I'll tell you another big mistake. I had clients come to me because I made the statement on the air. If you've been an owner-operator for 4 years and never paid tax, you're screwed. Something went wrong. You are either the worst owner-operator on the planet or your accounting is wrong, because it's virtually impossible. Now, I'm not going to go into weird scenarios where you buy a new truck every year, because eventually that will catch up to you as well. You may be able to get away with not paying tax for 4 years, but you're going to get hit big in 5 and 6. That's not what I'm talking about. The average owner-operator buys a truck, keeps it 2, 3, 4 years, 10 years. If you don't pay tax by that third or fourth year, you need to look at why not. And don't tell me it's because you have a great tax preparer. There are no loopholes like that. If you're earning money and making profit, you're going to pay tax. We can defer it sometimes with the lots of depreciation, but that doesn't last forever. So that was the case. I said that, and a husband and wife called me and they said, we're really scared. We're in our 5th year. We haven't paid any tax yet. And I said, okay, send me your tax return, and I'll look at it for you. And I do free tax reviews. And it took me less than 5 minutes to figure out the problem. Now, here's the thing. They were using a tax firm, a tax preparer who specializes in trucking, has for a very long time. He's a heavy critic of mine, by the way. I'm not going to name him. He has called me out many times, but he's been on other radio shows. I don't think he did this, but I have to believe somebody in his office did, and this just didn't get caught. Here's what was going on. The carrier started the problem, but this is why you can't trust the carrier's 1099. The carrier was only issuing the 1099 on the amount of line haul pay, but they were not including the fuel surcharge. That is completely wrong. Fuel surcharge is income, just like any other income. There's nothing different about it. But they didn't include it on the 1099. The owner-operator didn't catch it because they thought, we don't know this stuff. We're just going to give everything to our tax preparer. The tax preparer not catching it is a sin. That is a crime. Now, this is where the average tax preparer who doesn't do trucking could miss that easily because they're not used to looking at those kind of numbers. I've looked at enough owner-operator tax returns that the minute I saw the revenue and the fuel, I knew something was really, really wrong because there was no way you could spend that much money on fuel and only end up with that amount of revenue. It took me 30 seconds to catch that. Then it took me a couple minutes to go figure out why the revenue was so low. And it was so low because they weren't including the fuel surcharge. Now, unfortunately, I had to be the bearer of bad news. Remember, they had already filed 4 tax returns like this. Now, people think the IRS can only audit my tax return for 3 years. That's correct. But there's an exception. And the exception is if the IRS can prove you underreported your income. The 3-year rule applies to expenses that you exaggerated. So if you want to double your fuel cost and you can get away with it for past 3 years, then too bad. The IRS can't do anything. Now, I'm not recommending that. But after 3 years, if you doubled your fuel cost and lied, too late. The IRS can't do anything. But if they know that you underreported your income, there is no statute of limitations. They can audit you forever. So all 4 of those tax years, they were very, very short on their revenue. And I had to explain that to them that, look, you can't even wait this out. You can't ignore this and hope it goes away. Because not only will that sit there forever for a possible audit, but you're being charged interest and penalties on that underpayment, and it will rack up into tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. You've got to fix this. So don't trust the 1099. If it's too high, you're paying tax on money you never got. If it's too low, you can be audited forever, and you're being charged interest and penalties. This is an important issue. Take the time to verify your 1099 amount. So what I'm going to do when I come back, we're heading into a break. When I come back, I am going to outline 4 pretty decent tax deductions. 3 can be big, 1's not that big of a deal, but we want to get every penny we can. We don't want to give any more money to the government than possible. I'm going to go through 4 tax deductions that I very seldom see owner-operators take advantage of, and I'm going to show you how to take advantage of them. You can still do some of these. Some of these you may have to go back and manufacture some numbers or some documents to get credit for it this year. But these are all still things going forward you want to be doing. So if you weren't doing these before, you're going to want to start doing them now. But several of these you could still take advantage of for last year. So I'll get into those right after this, and then we'll get to your calls and questions. Stick around. We'll be right back. I'm Kevin Rutherford.
We are Road Dog Trucking Radio.
From the heart of America.
Broadcasting from sea to shining sea and all places in between.
Nashville, Tennessee.
New Orleans. The Mississippi Gulf Coast.
New York City.
Kansas City, Missouri.
From the West Virginia coal mines to the Rocky Mountains and the western skies. Road Dog Trucking Radio is everywhere. Next time you're in the neighborhood, make sure you stop by Sirius XM Channel 146.
Professional truck drivers, you can't afford to be left behind. A new era of trucking is starting. Electronic logs, automated transmissions, mobile apps, times have changed. Isn't it time for you to make a change too? Schneider has been an innovative industry leader since 1935. Experience it yourself in 2018. A new era of trucking. A new year of opportunity. A new career for you. Search all driving jobs and limited time sign-on bonuses at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
When would you prefer to spot that burglar? While he's outside, casing your home? Or after he breaks in? The best home security is the one that protects you inside and outside. That's Blink Home Security. Most home security is slow and unreliable and goes off after he breaks in. Too late. Blink is proactive home security, which is why I have Blink. It's motion activated. The instant Blink detects some crook snooping around my home or looking in my car for the garage remote, I get an instant alert and a video clip on my smartphone. Blink helps stop the crime before it happens. Blink cams are wire-free, set up in minutes, and run on batteries you don't replace for years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor your home anywhere from your smartphone. Blink is offering an amazing deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys typically charge for 1, plus 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/news. Visit blinkprotect.com/news. Visit blinkprotect.com/news.
Hemorrhoids. The pain, itching, and swelling can be unbearable. Now there's Recticare Complete Hemorrhoid Care System with 2 effective medicines that provide multi-symptom relief. Recticare Complete has the highest concentration of lidocaine and phenylephrine HCl without a prescription to relieve pain and itching and reduce swelling. Use Recticare Complete for noticeable results after the first use. Get Recticare in the blue and white box at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS Pharmacy, Rite Aid, and Meijer.
Use only as directed.
I'm Todd Bork, the Weather Channel, with an interstate weather update. Take a look at the east-west interstates, mainly east of the Rockies. We're fairly dry, but extremely cold out there, as we have many areas dealing with the bitter cold temperatures. So just keep that in mind no matter where you are. Now, we do have a couple areas with some scattered light snow showers, particularly along I-94 and parts of Wisconsin, Minnesota, into North Dakota, as well as I-90 in those same states. I-80, some spotty light snow showers in Iowa as well as Nebraska. Illinois could get in on the action as well. Elsewhere along I-90, we have some spotty light rain, snow showers from Montana and parts of Washington State. I-84, we have some rain and snow in parts of Utah as well as Idaho. I-80 also some rain, snow from Wyoming and parts of California. I'm Todd Bork with Custom Weather Drivers Twice Now on the Road Dog, Sirius XM 146. Now on the Sirius is Matt.
Welcome back. I'm Kevin Rutherford. I'm going to go over the things you should be looking at that you should be deducting on your 2017 return. Then I'm going to talk about some of the new tax laws. Then we're going to get to your calls and questions. So here's a little one for owner-operators. Not a big deal. It's been really controversial over the years, but the IRS kind of backed off on this one again. They give us a nice, simple way of doing it right now. It's the home office deduction. Just, talk to your tax preparer, look at the rules. It's pretty simple. We have an easy way to do it now because they realize a lot of people do work from home. So it's not that big deal that it used to be, you're going to get audited and all that stuff. So I'm not going to go over the deep rules on any of these because I would be here for the next 2 hours. I give a seminar on this. It takes me about 2 hours if I go through all the rules on how you do it. That's what you need a good tax preparer for. I'm just going to make sure you're aware that they exist. So home office, if you're an owner-operator, you should be looking at that, talking to your tax preparer about it. Vacation travel. This is a big one. This one is a gimme. This is not, some secret. It's not some loophole. The IRS has a whole publication written on how you take a deduction for business travel that's combined with vacation travel. So, you should always combine business travel with vacation travel and get a tax deduction for it. Now, you can't do this traveling out of the country. I will say that. So, if you leave the country, that doesn't count. Remember, Hawaii is part of our country, so is Alaska. Puerto Rico, I'd have to look at that one. I don't think anybody's going to be vacationing in Puerto Rico anytime soon. So if you're within the United States, cruises also don't count, by the way. And I won't get too deep into that. Cruises just don't count. But any kind of vacation you take within the United States, you should be combining business with it. And that is really, really easy to do. If you're an owner-operator and you want to go to vacation in Orlando, I lived there. There are plenty of trucking companies in Orlando. All you have to do is say, I'm going to stop down today and talk to a trucking company about leasing on with them. Not any trucking companies around. There are thousands of businesses everywhere you go. Show up at the shipping dock and say you are, even if you don't have your own authority, you might be thinking about getting your own authority. All I have to do is take 10 minutes and stop by, talk to the traffic manager, grab his business card, and put that in my tax file. Now, that entire day is considered business travel. So spend a half hour, and who knows, maybe you'll get some freight out of it. Spend a half hour, go do what you want to do the rest of the day, golf, go visit Mickey and Minnie, and you get to take your hotel, your meals, your rental car, the gas in the rental car, parking. All of those things can now be deductible. Tolls, your airfare if you flew down there. If you drove down there, you can deduct your mileage to get there. If you're an owner-operator and your wife isn't listed as part owner of your business, she needs to be, or he needs to be, you both should be owners because now both of you get to take deductions. That would include, another set of meal allowance. I'm going to tell you another deduction where we could even get a deduction possibly for your kids while they're there. That's another one I'll be talking about in just a second. I can come up with 100 reasons why when I'm on vacation, I'm doing something for business. I could stop into a truck dealer and look at speccing a new truck. I could go to some place for truck parts and buy something. I can come up with all kinds of reasons. I can find a business seminar just about anywhere, and I could go sit in on a seminar. Maybe take one day out of that. Still makes a big part of my vacation deductible. There isn't any reason why you couldn't deduct every day you were gone on vacation. So that's a big one. Even if it's not really official vacation, if you're just out traveling, if you're just going, Thanksgiving or Christmas, if you went to visit relatives, get a tax deduction for that stuff. Pretty simple to do. That's a big one. Here's the thing. You already spent all that money. I have people call me all the time and say, Kevin, I don't know why you don't like Chrome. It's tax deductible. Yeah, so what? I had to spend the money to get it. So I spent $100 on Chrome and I get a $30 tax deduction. I'm still missing $70. But if I go on vacation and I'm going anyway, I spent the money, I enjoyed it. The problem is 99% of the people don't deduct it because they don't understand it. And their tax preparer isn't telling them this stuff. So that's a big one. Personal vehicle miles. Any travel you use your personal vehicle for that could be considered business is deductible, and we don't even have to keep receipts. The IRS gives us an allowance, just like per diem, and their allowance is much bigger than what we really spend. So this is a double gift. You're already using your vehicle for your business, but you're probably not deducting it. So we get the gift of the deduction and we get the gift of the allowance because it's more than we're really spending. And guess what? You already spent the money. So if you go to the grocery store, most people do that once in a while, and you pick up staples, I don't care, paper towels. If we use those in the truck or in the business, that trip was now business deductible. And it's not a percentage. You get all the miles to and from the grocery store. The grocery store, the bank, parts, the terminal. Now, commuting back and forth to where your truck is parked is not deductible. Unless, you can't do it on every single trip, but there are other reasons we might drive over there. We had to load some parts into the truck. We had to go work on it. It's hard to tell that from commuting. But if you can't deduct the miles just driving back and forth to where the truck is parked to go to work and come home. But write it down as another reason why you were doing it. That one really, really adds up over the years. You can show a lot of miles. The IRS expects to see all these deductions. These are not audit triggers. There's nothing goofy about these. These are standard business deductions. Smart business owners have been taking these forever. Now, here's another one. You can pay your children to work in your business, and there is a huge tax benefit to this. Now, again, I'm not going to get too deep into the rules, but I will tell you this is well worth doing. You get to take a tax deduction for all the money you pay them. So you pay no tax on that money. If we set it up right, the child pays no tax on that money. No Social Security gets paid. No Medicare gets paid. You don't have to file a W-2 for your children. You don't have to do payroll the way you would for an employee. The IRS has very specific rules on paying your children, and they make it darn easy. And this is a huge tax benefit. And if you want to really give your kid one of the best benefits you could ever give them, first off, truly make them work in your business. I believe that making them work or asking them, you don't have to make them. Most kids would love to spend that kind of time with you and help and learn business. Could be filing, could be helping you wash the truck, vacuum the truck, whatever. Riding around with you when you go out, on parts runs or go to the terminal. We could count that as work. And because they now have wages, they now qualify to contribute to a Roth IRA. a little bit of money for a 10-year-old right now could become hundreds of thousands of tax-free dollars in their retirement account by the time they reach retirement age. Huge benefits to doing this. Again, there's rules, there's ways you need to do this, there's limits, there's all kinds of numbers, but I'm not going to spend the next 3 hours going over all that. Get with your tax preparer. Or better yet, call us. We do these kind of things all the time. You can call us at 855-800-3835. 855-800-FUEL. We'll help you with this. Now, let's talk a little bit about the 2018 rules, the new rules. There's a lot of confusion about this. So, I want to do this at a break so that we have kind of a clean cut. I've talked about 2017. I'm going to take a break. Then I'm going to talk about what's going on in 2018. So we have that little break in between so we don't get confused. So just keep in mind, everything I just talked about is for the tax return you are getting ready to file right now. When I come back from the break, I'm going to talk about what you should be doing in 2018 to get ready for 2019, this time next year. We'll be right back. Stick around. I'm Kevin Rutherford.
This is your year to be free. This is the year for God to act.
Start your year with inspiring messages of hope on SiriusXM's Joel Osteen Radio.
You're going to feel a new sense of joy, a new passion for your life.
Discover your new beginning.
Our God is more powerful than any sickness, any depression, any person, any hater. Every chain will be broken. Every limitation will be loosed.
Joel Osteen Radio, SiriusXM 128.
If you're not incorporated and you're a truck driver, a cafe owner, a construction contractor, a real estate agent, a consultant, or any small business owner, then you are at risk. If someone sues and you're not incorporated, you could lose everything. Your home, your car, even your personal life savings. That's why Incorporate.com is now giving away a free incorporation toolkit to all business owners, including exclusive information on how to start and grow your business. For your free incorporation toolkit, call now. 1-800-700-8123. Incorporation is the shield that protects your personal assets. Without it, you could lose everything. That's why at Incorporate.com, they just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. They don't provide legal or financial advice. So if you're a personal trainer, a travel agent, or run a tech startup or any small business, call now for your free incorporation toolkit. They're giving them away for free at 1-800-700-8123. That's 1-800-700-8123.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-700-9920. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-700-9920. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-700-9920. 1-800-700-9920.
Imagine a financial advisor who's a true partner in your success. I'm Mike Schrader, president of Baird Private Wealth Management. Trust is everything, and we strive to earn it every day. We listen to what you want to accomplish and help you make smart financial decisions in all areas of your life. And because Baird is employee-owned, you can trust that we're a financial partner with a long-term interest in what's best for you.
Imagine the power of you and Baird. Visit BairdWealth.com.
Road Dog Trucking Radio. Our favorite color is chrome. Road Dog Trucking Radio, Sirius XM 146. Or listen.
Welcome back. I'm Kevin Rutherford. I'm going to talk about the changes that have happened. This is a done deal. It was signed. We don't have the final forms. We don't have some of the final analysis maybe from the IRS, but we have the tax bill itself. The final bill was like 500 and some pages. I've read it. It was painful. I don't see much in there that's really open for a lot of interpretation. So I think most of what I'm saying is going to be very, very close to the way it will be once we see the final tax forms. But I'll keep you updated on that. Like I say, I don't see much in here that could be changed all that much. So let's start with the bad news and the confusion. Company drivers, employee drivers, can no longer deduct per diem. That is an absolute. You can't do it. The forms that you did it on your tax return won't even exist this year. So if you have a tax preparer that says, oh, yes, you can, I know how to do it. No, you can't. There is no form to deduct that anymore. And it's not just per diem. Per diem is just one expense. Almost all of the itemized expenses went away. Now, I've seen a lot of people say, oh my God, Trump screwed truck drivers. I'll never vote for a Republican again. Look, I won't argue with the fact that company drivers took a big hit with this. It was not intentional, and it wasn't directed at truck drivers. They didn't address per diem directly. In fact, that's why there's so much confusion about this. Several magazines in the industry came out within a day of the tax bill being signed, and several of them said nothing changed in per diem. And because they did that, I have been doing nothing but arguing with people on Facebook. And normally, I wouldn't bother. The reason I'm arguing now is because I will not let people on Facebook make that statement knowing it's wrong, because I don't want to see other people hurt because they believe that. So you're probably going to see me respond and argue a lot more to people over this one issue. Because the magazines, it sounded right. They even pulled out the text from the tax bill. And basically what the text said, that there was no change in per diem. Well, that sounds like Kevin must be wrong. He just said we can't deduct per diem, but the tax bill says there's no change. In the way that per diem is calculated and all the per diem rules, nothing changed. But you have to understand our tax system. It's complicated. What did change was how employees are allowed or not allowed anymore to deduct any unreimbursed employee business expense. That's the name of the category. It falls under miscellaneous itemized deductions. They're all gone. All of them. Everything that fell under miscellaneous or unreimbursed employee, all of those are gone. And because of that, per diem is gone. They didn't have to change the per diem rules. They just eliminated the entire form that you would deduct it on and eliminated the deduction completely. Why did they keep the per diem rules? Because companies are still allowed to deduct it. Companies are allowed to reimburse employees for per diem. Owner-operators still take per diem on their business Schedule C, just like they always have. I've been in arguments and people say, oh, no, you can still deduct it. You just have to get over that new itemized higher amount. No, that is 100% incorrect. I don't care if you have $50,000 worth of per diem. You don't get to deduct it. You don't get to deduct itemized, miscellaneous itemized, or unreimbursed employee business expense. That means there is no deduction for per diem for a company driver. Now, an owner-operator still takes it on Schedule C. Nothing changed. Here's the easy, fix for this. And if carriers will do this, it actually creates a big tax benefit for their drivers over last year. The companies need to start reimbursing per diem. Many of them already do. That's been around for years. So if you are working for a company that pays you 32 cents a mile as a wage and 8 cents a mile as a per diem, you lost nothing in this tax bill. Virtually nothing. I'm not going to get too deep into the numbers. But you'll still be the same. You will still get your per diem tax free. You will also still get the new higher standard deduction, and you'll get the new lower tax brackets. So if you are a company driver who works for a carrier that reimburses per diem, then this was a big tax break for you as well. If you work for a carrier who does not reimburse per diem and they don't start doing it, you took a big tax hit. You lost a couple $1,000s at least. No question. So the reason I'm so adamant about this is I think that if enough drivers go to their carrier and explain this to them correctly, the carriers are going to be forced to start reimbursing that per diem. Again, we're in that perfect storm. Trucks are parked because they don't have enough drivers. Freight is spilling off the docks because there aren't enough trucks to pick it up. I just read a dozen new articles screaming about the driver shortage that's been around for 25 years, but now it's really getting bad. So you have really good leverage and negotiation power right now to start going to your carrier and saying, are you going to put a per diem plan in place? And if they're only paying 4 or 5 cents a mile, get them to look at those numbers again. You should be able to pay 9 or 10 cents a mile in per diem. A carrier should be able to reimburse that without overpaying the per diem. But again, I'm not going to get too deep into the numbers. That the tax preparers can do that. I have them all. Numbers just get really boring on the radio. I just want you to understand the concept. Other than the per diem, which I get, that's a big thing. That's why I covered it first. For company drivers, your tax return for many of you will become drop dead simple. Because without being able to itemize per diem, without the itemized deductions and the unreimbursed employee business expense, they're talking about filing your taxes on a postcard. We haven't seen that yet, but it's certainly possible. You're going to show, your filing status. You'll fill in your standard deduction. The personal exemptions are gone, so you don't even have to mess with those. And you're going to put in how much tax you paid from your W-2, do a little math, and you've got your refund. It really is going to be that easy to figure out your tax return. I think, companies like H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, Liberty are going to get decimated by this, because those are the tax returns they've been doing the most of, and I think a lot of them are going to go away. So as a company driver, either way, whether you get paid per diem or not, your tax return is going to become really simple. If you get paid per diem, the tax return is still that simple. So as much as I would like to get a bunch of new employee driver tax clients, you don't need me. Maybe for last year, you're not going to need me for 2018. But I'll still try to keep the information out there that helps you. And I'm writing articles. I've had 3 interviews with magazines already. I have 2 more coming next week. I want to get the word out in the industry so the carriers don't wait on this. I want to see the carriers start reimbursing that per diem so the drivers don't get screwed on this. Now, the big changes really came for owner-operators. But here's the good news. They're all good. Every single change. I couldn't find one in there that I didn't like for owner-operators. Not one. We got a 20% pass-through deduction. First time in history that you get to earn money in your business tax-free. 20% of your revenue. gross revenue, by the way. 20% tax-free. You know what? I'm going to double-check the gross and the net. The way I've seen it so far, it looks like they've got this weird calculation. It's the lesser of three things. But for most owner-operators being sole proprietors, I believe it's going to be 20% of the gross revenue. Tax-free. You get to deduct it right off the top, never pay tax on it. That's huge. You still get your per diem deduction just like always. Nothing changed in per diem for owner-operators. You get new lower tax brackets. That's a wonderful thing as well. I did an example of an owner-operator netting $100,000 after all expenses. Their tax bill will be $7,000 lower in 2018 than it was in 2017. That's big. Now, this affects who should be incorporated. That's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to take a minute or two to talk about that after this break. Then I'm going to get to your calls and questions. Stick around. If you didn't catch this, I think I'm going to replay this hour during the week as well on the night show. We'll be right back. Stick around. I'm Kevin Rutherford.
The Tim Ridley Show, a community of drivers discussing everything trucking, from financial issues.
Is there really a driver shortage, or is it a pay shortage?
To health issues.
We have medical professionals on our show to help you.
Hear what over 1 million miles of experience sounds like.
You missed the power, but not the truck. Don't pull as well as you used to with that big kitty cat you had.
The Tim Ridley Show, weekday mornings at 5 a.m. East.
It helps out to have somebody that's like-minded in trucking.
On Road Dog Trucking Radio.
Hi, I'm Scott Tannen, founder of Boll & Branch, makers of the world's most comfortable sheets. Whatever your New Year's resolution, you'll go to bed 365 times this year. You deserve to have your best night's sleep every night. By cutting out the middleman and selling directly to you at bollandbranch.com, we're making luxury bedding affordable. Our sheets cost less than half of designer brands and are twice the quality. There's a reason our sheets have so many 5-star reviews. Hundreds of thousands of Americans, including 3 U.S. presidents, are sleeping better than ever on Boll & Branch. If you haven't slept on pure organic cotton sheets before, you won't believe how soft they are. We guarantee you'll love Boll & Branch sheets. To prove it, we let you sleep on them risk-free for a month. And right now, we'll give you $50 off your first set of sheets, plus free shipping when you use promo code STARS. That's $50 off, plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com. Promo code STARS. bollandbranch.com, spelled B-O-L-L, and branch.com. Promo code STARS.
Your brain is an amazing thing, but as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. In clinical trials, Prevagen has been shown to improve short-term memory. Prevagen, the name to remember. Now available in stores everywhere. Statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
It's Golden Globes Week on Entertainment Weekly Radio. Get ready for one of the biggest award shows of the year with exclusive interviews from nominees like Aaron Sorkin, Allison Janney, and James Franco.
This was my story in more ways than one.
Plus the cast of your favorite nominated TV shows like The Crown, This Is Us, and Stranger Things.
Am I going to be here? Am I going to die? Like, I didn't know what was going on. Like, it's not that big, but everyone knows except you.
Golden Globes Week continues throughout the weekend on EW Radio, Sirius XM 105, or listen on the Sirius XM app.
I'm Todd Bork for the Weather Channel with an interstate weather update. Bitter cold temperatures east of the Rockies, so just keep that in mind if you do plan on stopping off anywhere. It's going to be bitter cold outside. Now, as long as precipitation is out there, not a lot, there's some. Looking at the north-south interstates, I-75 and I-95 in Florida, some spotty light rain showers. I-35 from Minnesota into Iowa, some spotty light snow showers. Same thing from I-29 from the Dakotas into Iowa. I-15, we have some higher elevation snow showers and then some lower elevation drops of rain mixing in along I-15 from Montana, Idaho into Utah. And also some spotty light rain showers as far south as the deserts of California. I-5, some spotty rain showers in Washington State. And we also have some light rain out there along I-5 in central and southern parts of California. I'm Todd Bork with Custom Weather Driver's Choice on the Road Dog, Sirius XM 146, and on the Sirius.
Your money, your taxes, your truck, and your road to success in the trucking industry.
Now, back to Trucking Business and Beyond, the show that puts the money where it belongs.
Back in your pocket.
Welcome back. I'm Kevin Rutsford. We're going to get to your calls, 8888 Road Dog, if you want to join us. Here's the one thing I want people to realize. That one of the more confusing issues I've talked about in the past is whether or not an owner-operator should be incorporated. And we made it as simple as possible. Forget all the legal stuff. Forget all the asset protection. That stuff's all garbage. That's a way to sell books and stuff on overnight radio. The only reason to think about being a corporation as an owner-operator is, will it save you money? And it's a tax issue, and it can get complicated. But I've simplified it and said, look, for most owner-operators, if you're paying tax on more than $65,000, that means after everything we can deduct, per diem, depreciation, everything, if you're still paying tax on $65,000, then yes, a corporation would save you money. That just changed. This is important because now you would have to net about $80,000 in order to be paying tax on $65,000 because you get a 20% deduction right off the top. So that is a big change, and it's a good change. I don't like incorporating people. Well, actually, I do because we make money doing it. But I don't want to. I'd rather be able to save them the money without doing that. And now that's a whole group of people that don't need to incorporate to save that money anymore. Again, I'm going to have some final numbers on this. I'm writing an ebook to cover all of this stuff with examples and numbers. We're also going to be offering, I'm not ready to do it yet, we're going to be offering free reviews of your tax return for 2017 to help you make sure that it's correct and you're not missing some of these deductions. And then we'll also do a comparison to show you what you should be doing in 2018. And that's a big question, we'll be able to answer for you whether or not you should incorporate this year. But fewer owner-operators will need to incorporate this year because of those tax law changes. That's a good thing. Let's get to some phone calls. Let's head off to Georgia. Steve, welcome to the program.
Hey, Kevin, I do appreciate you taking my call, and I tell you, there's a lot of information to take in, and I appreciate you doing the footwork and letting us drivers know what we need to look out for and the things that we need to accommodate for in the future. And I really appreciate that. I really do.
You're welcome. What's on your mind today?
Yeah. I was, well, of course, I'm the 13 center mile in the lease program, and and I went to Landstar, and now I'm up under my own authority.
Right.
And one of the questions that I had is that, of course, I wanted to do everything myself instead of just going out and pay somebody to do things for me.
Okay.
Because I wanted to understand if something went wrong. And so I started in September up under my authority, and when I went to file my IFTA, I'm domiciled out of Georgia, and when I went to file my IFTA, everything was okay, and I was able to file it, and I actually got a credit back in September.
Okay.
Okay, now just a couple of days ago, I went to file it again, and I'm hung up on Kentucky. Which I understand that New York, Kentucky, New Mexico, and Oregon don't participate in the program. And they were saying, the website was saying something, the Georgia Portal website was saying something about there is a surcharge and all of that, and I could never get around that. And which I haven't went back to work on it again, but I was asking, do I have to go to Kentucky website to file my IFTA there?
Well, here's the thing. I want to clear up just a little bit of confusion here. We have two types of taxes people can get confused by. We have fuel tax, which confuses everybody. That's why I wrote an entire online course. But then you mentioned 4 states, and you're absolutely correct. Those 4 states, and I don't want to confuse this, but let me take Oregon out of that group for a second. New York, New Mexico, and Kentucky.
I got you.
They have a fuel tax. So you still file with IFTA on those 3 states for fuel tax. But on top of their fuel tax, those 3 states also have a mileage tax, sometimes referred to as a ton-mile tax. So that's a separate filing. You have to deal with those states and file those 3 separately if you drove in those states. If you don't drive in them, you can just ignore them.
Right.
Oregon is its own animal. The difference with Oregon, those 3 states have fuel tax and miles tax. Oregon has no fuel tax whatsoever. They only have a mileage tax. So if you run in Oregon, you need to get the permit. You need to file your mileage tax in Oregon. If you don't run in Oregon, you can just ignore them.
Okay. Yeah, actually, Kentucky, out of the 4, Kentucky is the only one that I run through, to really be honest with you. And I was just trying to figure out, I'm going to go back into it and try to study it and understand it again, working with the Georgia portal. But I was just trying to understand what did I need to do in order to get all of that done and get all of that filed.
Yeah,
with the state.
Matt is probably listening today. I understand the high-level rules on all of this because this is no different than it was, 10 years ago when I still had trucks, 20 years ago. This really hasn't changed. IFTA came around way back in the 80s sometimes, right, when I was getting into the industry, or not long after that. And since then, nothing's really changed much. But I don't deal with the day-to-day how to file. And some of those have changed. Almost all the states have websites now to do it with. We used to have to do it all on paper. So Matt or somebody else will probably call us and give us the easy way to deal. And you said you only have to deal with Georgia, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Kentucky.
Georgia, right.
Kentucky is the extra state that you have a mileage tax. So I'm sure somebody will call us today and give us the rundown on the easiest way to handle the Kentucky mile tax.
Okay. All right. I'll continue to listen, and I do appreciate the call.
All right. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, the day-to-day detail of filing, that kind of stuff has changed. The concept and the idea hasn't. Let's go to Kansas. Kevin, welcome to the program.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I got a question for you on comparing keeping the truck I have now or trading for a new one.
Okay. Tell me what you've got now.
I got a 014 Pete 579 with 548,000 miles on it. And at 420, I had the truck deleted, which means you cannot trade it. Dealerships won't touch it. Once they've been deleted.
That's an interesting thought. In all the years we talked about that, we haven't been recommending that for several years now. There was a time when that was the only way we knew how to fix these things. But that was an issue we never even thought about. We talked about the EPA. We talked about it going into a shop. But we never talked about trade-in. That one slipped right by me. Interesting. So if you do something...
I sat down. Go ahead, sir.
I was going to say, have you looked at independent dealers, not factory, not like a Peterbilt dealership, but, and I know the independents only sell used trucks, but sometimes you can find really, really nice trucks that are a year or two old. Would they trade in?
Yeah. If they hold a dealer's license, it's a federal law. They can't touch them.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Checked in several different states. But here's some numbers I ran through with my accountant. I'm trying, because I got a truck another 5 years. That'll put me at 66 and a half, so I can retire. So, yeah, I've been trying to balance this out in my little mind. And I talked to my accountant. I would like to run some numbers with you here.
Okay.
On the cost of keeping this truck. She said based on last year's taxes, losing $30-some thousand in depreciation because I depreciated over 4 years instead of 5. And I started in 2013.
Wait.
That I'll have another 13,000.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I want to clear up something. Was she making it sound like you should have depreciated it in 5?
No, she asked me that question on the first year of this trade, and I told her my intention was to trade the truck in 4 years.
That's where I have a problem. You don't get to pick. It's not a choice. A tractor is a 3-year property, not a 5-year property. It's a 3, which means you get deductions in 4 years. I know that's confusing, but it's not a choice. I never understand why accountants ask that question like that. That always worries me. But let me get to a break. I'll come back. We'll talk about the numbers. Stick around. We'll be right back. I'm Kevin Rutherford.
To go from she loves you to I am the walrus. I mean, that's a journey.
It's full of a certain kind of life. That sweet moment of psychedelic songwriting.
You know, George Martin, you can't talk about the Beatles without bringing him into the picture.
Beatles fans.
Come together.
I'm Alec Baldwin. Hey, this is Beck.
Hello, I'm Jeff Bridges on the Beatles channel.
Sirius XM 18.
Think about it. You've got some great photos on your phone, but what are you doing with them? If you don't have FreePrints yet, you've got to get it. FreePrints is the free app for iPhone and Android that lets you print all those photos for free. You get 1,000 free 4x6 photo prints a year. All you pay is a small shipping charge. You can even print photos at other sizes for next to nothing. Using the FreePrints app is easy. Just select the photos you want to print, whether they're on your phone or on Facebook or Instagram, choose the sizes, and you're done. Your premium quality free prints will arrive on your doorstep in just days. With more than 100,000 5-star reviews, FreePrints is one of the world's favorite apps. Download it now at freeprintsnow.com and start enjoying real professional quality free prints. The app is free and so are the prints. No subscriptions, no commitments, just free prints. Go to freeprintsnow.com to get the app and your 1,000 free prints. That's freeprintsnow.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Guys, this may be the last time you ever have to think about hair loss. Because I'm telling you, Bosley is the real deal. They're giving men their hair back permanently. Their real hair. All it takes to get started on the hair gain train is a single text message. You'll get an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card when you text KIT66 to 85850. Check them out now. Bosley will show you for free how great your hair could look. Dude, this isn't your dad's hair loss treatment. People all over the country trust Bosley because they're America's #1 hair restoration expert, ahead of the curve with the latest technology. And the best part, Bosley's solution is permanent. You're going to love what they'll do for your hair. So drop what you're doing long enough to send a text. Get your free information kit and gift card for $250 off by texting KIT66 to 85850. Don't forget, that's KIT 66 to 85850.
Smoke meat every day. This is Chris Kelly with Roland Dickey Jr. You're our head pitmaster. Is there anything more boring than going to another party with stale pizza and tired wings? I'm showing up with a tailgate party pack from Dickey's. 2 meats, 3 sides, buttery rolls for 12 people for $99. Delivery or pickup at every Dickey's. We smoke meat every day. Other family packs for tailgate parties for 4, 6, or 8 people. Upgrade your football party from pizza to great juicy barbecue. Delivered or picked up. 866-BARBECUE or Dickies.com.
Weekday mornings, 11 a.m. East. Freewheeling.
We talk about pop culture, talk to celebrity guests, and hear what drivers have to say about the world at large.
Welcome back. I'm Kevin Rutherford. The number to join us, 8888 Road Dog. We're going to go back to Kansas. So, Kevin, just two things real quick on that. One, it's not a choice. Maybe the reason some accountants think that it is because if you, instead of taking the depreciation in 3, if you move it to 5, the IRS is never going to fight that because it benefits them, not us. We always want to depreciate things as fast as we can. Always. So it just bugs me when I hear that because I see tractors being taken on 5 years all the time, and it's just a mistake. So you did it correct. It was a 3-year schedule. You depreciated it in 4 tax years. So keep going with your numbers.
Correct. Okay, so she said I'm going to have $13,000 more tax that I'll have to pay in 18 over 17, being my depreciation is gone. So that's $1,100 a month. Over 5 years, that comes out to $65,000.
So,
talked about
wait. Let's hold on again. I want to take a step back there. Her calculation was correct.
Right.
Correct. Roughly $13,000. Where the 65 though is not correct. You can't assume that every year we're going to pay $13,000 more in tax. That's a really bad way to look at this. Because you're not going to get $30,000 in depreciation every year for the next 5 years. But even if you did,
I'm going to have something if I keep this truck, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So but and there's another way we need to look at that. So if let's talk about a new truck. Which basically $150,000 on anything new right now, right?
Right. Yep. More like $160.
Okay, so let's use $160,000 then. That $160,000 you have to spend will save you $1,632 $48,000 in tax. That's the number. So it's not $30,000 every year. It's roughly 30% of what you spend. So you got to remember, if we don't go buy a new truck at all, you're going to pay $48,000 more in tax, but you're still $100,000 and some $1,000 ahead. So if you
I'd like to continue on with
I will. If you are looking at buying a new truck only because of taxes, then I would say absolutely not. It's usually like number 5 in the reason why we would buy a new truck. It's not
all right.
that big of a deal.
Yes, I know it's a poor idea just for taxes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So keep going then.
We talked about maintenance. They said, well, I'm doing about $120,000 a year. 10 cents a mile, probably minimum was $60,000 over 5 years. And she said, you're going to be pushing $1.2 million, $1.3 million on the truck by the time you retire. So you still got that big if of an in-frame or a major above and beyond that maintenance cost.
Hold on a second. How many, and I don't mean to keep ragging on the tax preparer here, how many trucks has she owned?
She owns no trucks.
Yeah, I'm not sure where she's coming up with her logic. And let's forget that 5-year thing right now because it actually confuses the issue. What is your current maintenance cost on the truck that you own right now? What is your maintenance cost per mile? I want to make this easy because looking at that 5-year thing is just getting confusing.
All right. Well, this year it's a little skewed because I'm up around 20 cents because I had to basically do a full rubber replacement on the truck.
Okay. So that gives me
I got trailer tires I'm dealing with, so that's a little skewed.
That gives me a good number to work with, though. And keep in mind where I'm getting my data from. We have thousands and thousands of trucks in our profit gauges system, and I can go in there and pull out averages on maintenance, fuel, all of those things. The average new truck today is costing 18 cents a mile in maintenance. Many of them are costing 25 and 30 cents a mile in maintenance. I can actually run a 1,000,000-mile truck pre-emission cheaper in maintenance than I can a brand new truck.
All right.
There really is no giant tax savings in maintenance.
And, the other thing is, too, the way I was doing my goofy math, it looked like it's going to be a wash, but you're showing me that sticking with what I got, it's going to be cheaper in the long run, I believe.
Oh,
even though they're telling me that an 8-mile-per-gallon truck, if the salesman I bought a Ford truck from in the past, if I buy a full pack car drivetrain with the new 12-speed automatic and the 485 horse pack car motor, 270 gears, he said he's real confident I'll pull 8+ with it. He's getting reports, but
now I agree with that.
$1,200 a month back into fuel.
I agree with that. So that is a legitimate savings of new trucks. But I also have clients who are getting 9 and 10 miles to the gallon out of 1999 trucks. It can be done. You just have to work really hard at it. Whereas the new truck, really, and this is getting more and more common, the new trucks are getting better every year. You buy a new truck today, turn on the key, and you can get 8 miles to the gallon. That's not uncommon. Some of them will actually get 9, depending on the way you drive them in the operation. So that's the first number I agree with. That's a legitimate number. In fact, if you buy a new truck and you don't get 8 miles to the gallon, something went wrong. So that number I agree with. But maintenance cost is much higher on these trucks. There's just a lot more stuff. There's more sensors, more computers. We have, DEF cleanouts. We've just got a lot of stuff.
That's why I deleted mine.
Yeah.
I got $420,000, and I was in the shop twice a month, and I was pulling my hair out, and I didn't know what else to do. So I found a guy that could delete it. I said, "Do it."
Yeah. And we were.
Good news is I haven't been back in the shop.
Well, good. So here's the thing. I'm not against
shop for $120,000.
I'm not against new trucks. I just want to make sure that people are looking at the correct numbers. See, accountants, and I feel like I have to fight against this because tax preparers, they want to make you happy as a client. I get that. I completely get that. So what's the best way for them to look good in your eyes? The only way. Most tax preparers only do one thing for you. They file your tax return. So the only way for them to look good in their minds a lot of times is to make sure you have the lowest tax bill possible. So that's the kind of advice they give. They want you to do things to make your tax bill lower because then they look good. Well, I've always thought of myself as much more than a tax preparer. I want you to make as much money as you possibly can. And that isn't always going to mean the lowest tax bill.
Right. I'd rather give Uncle Sam $30 and hang on to 70.
Exactly. Right.
That works for me.
Right.
Now on the fuel saving, just back here, you've got my numbers all changed. I just want to talk about two other things. So I'd have $72,000 saved in fuel, 6 versus the 8, on $1,200 a month, and we got $48,000 in tax benefit. So now the thing that really caught my ear is that last year I did $185 gross. So that's $37,000 I don't have to pay tax on? First 37?
I have crunched so many numbers. I think it's net. When I said that earlier, I caught myself, and I meant to go back and think about that. It's net revenue. Net. So, and I did the spreadsheets, and I put them all up on Facebook. So if you netted $100,000, you pay tax on 80. So so whatever your net would be, you get to take 20% off the net. I knew when I said gross earlier, I caught myself, and then I couldn't clear my head. But it clearly it's net. Yeah.
I got out my calculator right away and went Yahoo.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, so I'm looking at basically $110,000. I'd have to invest $160 plus interest, That'd probably put me up to like $190 cost of the new truck versus $120,000 savings on the other truck. So I guess sticking with this truck and throwing money at it is the way to go.
Here's the thing. I have run this calculation literally hundreds of times. It almost never works out. If we're looking at just true bottom line profit, nothing else matters. Keeping a truck forever almost always works. But there are times where we could say, look, okay, the truck costs $160. I've got this in savings and fuel, maybe a little bit of savings in maintenance, maybe not. I do have the tax savings. We could also look at it to say, yeah, for the next 5 years I get to drive a new truck and it's only going to cost me $30,000. Might be worth it just to have a new truck. So I'm not arguing with you either way. I'm just trying to give you different ways of looking at it. But if it's pure money, keeping an old truck 99 times out of 100 ends up saving. The only exception is when you have an old truck that's getting 5 miles to the gallon and we can't fix it, and the new truck's going to get 8 or 9. Then the fuel savings alone pays for it. And remember, if fuel goes up to $4 or $5 a gallon...
You ready? Road Dog Trucking Radio gives you a different kind of trucking show.
About life, about love, about work, about career, the trucking industry.
Meredith Oaks, Chris T, it's freewheeling.
Where drivers go to get informed and talk about the world at large.
What a concept.
Freewheeling with Meredith Oaks and Chris T. Weekdays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
It's a self-discovery journey.
And again at 8 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Because it is a gift to the world.
Exclusively on Road Dog Trucking Radio. And on the SiriusXM app.
Owner-operators, does your truck need an engine overhaul but you lack the cash or credit? Is your bruised credit preventing a truck purchase or early lease buyout? Call CAG Truck Capital. Good credit, bad credit, startups, and even bankruptcy. Qualify for your loan over the phone at 800-932-CASH. 800-932-CASH. For simple, no-hassle engine overhaul or truck financing, call 800-932-CASH. Get the cash for your truck at 800-932-CASH.
Message and data rates may apply.
Remembering when to change your fridge filter is a hassle. Remembering the right filter is almost impossible. So at Filters Fast, we have some good advice. Forget it. Instead, remember this. Text DOOR88 to 543-543 and check fridge filters off your to-do list forever. Get it all taken care of for a fraction of big box store prices with a Filters Fast brand filter. To see how much you can save, plus get free shipping, text DOOR88 to 543-543. With a huge range of brand name filters available, Filters Fast is America's #1 online filtration company. And you can get a Filters Fast brand filter for a fraction of the price, delivered to your door every time you need it. No need to remember. It's not a matter of if you need a fridge filter. Why not text to get it taken care of? To see how much you can save and get free shipping, text DOOR88 to 543-543. That's DOOR88 to 543-543.
Introducing a new 20-part animated film series from the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation. Each film features an imaginary friend character explaining cancer-related topics in a way kids can understand. Everything from MRI scans...
This is just a fancy way of saying picture taking.
...to why chemotherapy is used.
To defeat evil cancer cells.
Help us get these 20 very important films to kids and families who need them most. Please share ImaginaryFriendsSociety.com. That's ImaginaryFriendsSociety.com.
I'm Todd Bork, the Weather Channel with an interstate weather update. Take a look at the east-west interstates, mainly east of the Rockies. We're fairly dry, but extremely cold out there, as we have many areas dealing with the bitter cold temperatures. So just keep that in mind no matter where you are. Now, we do have a couple of areas with some scattered light snow showers, particularly along I-94 and parts of Wisconsin, Minnesota, into North Dakota, as well as I-90 in those same states. I-80, some spotty light snow showers in Iowa as well as Nebraska. Illinois could get in on the action as well. Elsewhere along I-90, we have some spotty light rain, snow showers from Montana and parts of Washington State. I-84, we have some rain and snow in parts of Utah as well as Idaho. I-80 also some rain snow from Wyoming and parts of California. I'm Todd Bork with Custom Weather Drivers twice now on the Road Dog, Sirius XM 146. And I'm the Sirius is Matt Smart.
Welcome back. I'm Kevin Rutherford. The number to join us, 8888 Road Dog. We're going to get right back to the calls. We're off to Pennsylvania. Tad, welcome to the program.
Hey, Kevin. How you been, bud?
Good. What's on your mind?
I got an issue, and I just need a little time. I talked to Lisa, and she's going to have Chris call me. I'm still with CLA, and now Kim's not there, and Brady doesn't seem to know what he's talking about. I got an issue, and I need to know how to categorize. I need you to follow closely.
Okay.
I'm a statement. Each week, I'll pick an initial $300 advance, okay?
Okay.
The following week, it comes out as an advance. But what I do is I pull an advance every morning at 6 a.m. to keep the 300 like I still got my full net check. I asked Brady how to put it on there because it's still income. Well, if it shows in advance, it's just the way it is. Well, I can't do it that way, number one. And I canceled out my AT&T, and I went to Verizon. It cost me $5,400. I said, Brady, how do I write this off? I said, I can't.
Well, hold on. Stop, because let's not do two issues at once. Taxes are complicated enough. Let's stick with the advance first. So, advance.
All right. The thing is, and I don't know how to categorize it.
It's pretty simple, really. It'd be easy if I were looking at your statements, but I'm just going to do this. Advance is always, always, always considered advance. So it is income. It's always income.
I know that.
Okay.
I know that. But what Brady's saying, I said, I still have to show it on my statement, because if I don't show that advance on my statement, then it throws my net figure off.
Well, okay.
And it makes me more because I just left them.
When you're talking about your statement, are you talking about entering into an accounting system like profit gauges?
That's the one that I've been using for 3 years. I went by your rules 3 years ago, and it's on there. Advances cannot be a write-off, and I know that, but it's still income. And if I don't show, if I deduct that,
hold on. I know. I'm going to explain. That's why we have that category called retained earnings. So if
I try to tell Brady that, or you don't put it under that.
Yes, you do. Yes, you absolutely do.
That's what I thought.
That is what, because think about the word even. You earned that money already, didn't you?
Yes, and all I do is wash it out every Thursday.
Correct. Right.
And I tried to tell Brady that, oh no, you don't put it under retain. I said,
yes, you do.
Well, if I don't put it under retain, I got to show that income, but it still shows as a deduction every week.
So
and if I just leave it in there, then it's going to make it more than that settlement is.
See, most software programs were not designed around an owner-operator settlement, because that's a pretty unique thing. Most businesses don't have anything like that. So when we wrote our software,
that's why I love That's why I love your software.
Well, and when I wrote it, I knew that advances on settlements was going to be a very confusing issue for people. And settlements are confusing. And I wanted a way to make sure that every time you entered a settlement, it balanced so you knew it was correct. And the way to do that is to make sure that the advances go into retained earnings so they're accounted for, but they're not considered an expense. So you were correct. Ignore what Brady said.
Exactly. And I was right. And the thing is, so now I'll go back and touch that. But my number two question, I'm switching over to you. I mean, here's the thing. I can't get no straight answers out there. Since they left us, we're down to 12 clients, and I have all the time in the world for you, Tad. Well, they can't even answer a simple question. I'll get back to the cell phone. Now I told Brady what I was doing this year. I'm going to go to Landstar in April. I'm going to get the loan and get my truck out to lease.
Okay.
Oh, then your depreciation starts all over again. How can depreciation start all over again?
Well, hold on. It doesn't. Let me ask you this, because I haven't looked at your tax return. Is there depreciation on your tax return?
The thing about it is, Kevin, what I can do, it's all legit because I haven't had no problem with IRS. I've got those all 3 years of my returns in my portal,
Okay.
I can mail it to you, email it to the support truck if you want me to do that.
Yeah, do that. And let me just go over this in general. The lease purchase programs have always been kind of a nightmare because you could interpret it, especially if it has a buyout at the end. If there's a buyout at the end, technically you could depreciate that truck, even though it's a lease. There are some ways we can justify using depreciation. And depreciation is better than a lease. I know people don't think that, but it clearly is. The problem was it was getting so complicated for us because 99% of the people that start lease purchases never finish them. So you put somebody into depreciation, and 6 months later, they're out of their lease, and you've got to go straighten all that out. So we started saying, look, we know we could justify calling this a purchase and depreciate it, but we're not going to. We're just going to take your lease payments every month. It's easier, and so that's the way we've been doing it. If that's the case, if we've been deducting lease payments throughout the lease, no matter when you do it, on the day you buy it, depreciation starts. It doesn't start over, it starts. But if you've been depreciating a lease from the very beginning, then nothing changes when you buy it. You just continue on with your depreciation.
Okay, no, here's the thing. Now, I've been 4 years now with my truck, and my 3 years is done now.
Correct.
My 3-year depreciation time frame is done.
So here's what we look at.
But when Marcus was there, they went back and did some weird things. Now I actually got depreciation until like April, but I've been making my lease payments. You know my drill. You know what the deal's all about. But
so,
I'm still making the damn thing work.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If we started a truck in depreciation, and like in your case, and we depreciate it in 3 years, but let's say it's a 5-year lease, that doesn't change anything. When you're out of depreciation, you're out of depreciation. That's all there is to it. Now, if for some reason the buyout, so I'm going to try to use some simple numbers here. Let's say that we look at the lease in the beginning and we decide that, okay, this whole lease is going to cost you $150,000. So we put $150,000 into depreciation. But then we get to the end and the buyout is another $20,000. Well, we still get to write off the $20,000. I mean, there is a way to write off every penny you ever spend to own that truck. And we might have to, mix things up a little bit, but our goal would be to make sure that we look through your whole contract and everything you've ever spent, and we make sure you get a deduction for all of it. We don't care what it's called, depreciation, lease payments, buyout, whatever. We just want to make sure you get credit for all of it.
Right. Well, then here's my thing. If I decide to stay and just suck it up and make because I can make it work 2 more years. My buyout at the end of the lease will be $160 I paid and $1 to get my title.
Yeah.
Now, if I go to Landstar, I go with a loan. It's going to cost me an extra $16,000 in interest. So now I'm paying $60,000 for the truck when I'm only 1 year and 8 months away, and I can just finish it out and pay my $1 and collect my title. What would you do? I know the rates are good at Landstar, and I got Steve helping me out, got really good connections. But now I'm in a dilemma, man. That's paying more than what I was going to pay for the truck.
Yeah, that I'd have to sit down.
I don't want to put $60,000. I don't want to put a $60,000 more onto my credit report when if I just bide my time, finish the lease, they're not going to take my truck. They don't want it back because I've done all the modifications. They let me do whatever I want. They leave me alone. And then I look at it like this. I can finish it out, collect my title for $1. That's all the buyout is. Buy my title for $1. I paid $160,000 and $1 for the whole truck. Or I can go spend $60,000 to buy it outright, but I don't know if I want to do that, Kevin.
Well, hold on a second. You have how many more payments do you need to make to finish the lease? Or just tell me.
Right now, to walk in the door, because I sent it. Well, no, I can tell you. I just sent all that, the copy of the title to the CAG capital gunner. Right now, as of Thursday, to walk in with cash, $45,000.
Okay. Now, so, but hold on. Wait, I'm going to tell you this. Now, they want to go ahead. I've got 1 year, 8 months left. The people that want to give me the loan, of course, my credit ain't 800. Can you come back to me? Yeah, I'm going to come back. Hold on. We're getting deep into the numbers, but I'll try to go through this last piece. A lot of numbers today. I know numbers always don't work great on radio, but there's a lot going on in the industry right now. I want to make sure you understand this stuff. Stick around. We'll be right back. I'm Kevin Rutherford.
This is a really fun experience.
Ed Sheeran stunned a small club.
In love with the shape of
Taylor Swift stripped it down in studio.
Call it what you want, yeah.
2017 was so full of magical pop music moments that we're not ready to let go just yet. Selena Gomez is here.
Hi, guys.
Catch encores of exclusive SiriusXM performances and interviews. Plus the year's biggest hit songs on countdowns from Hit 1 and The Pulse. SiriusXM's Best of Pop 2017. On now through January 9th on Spotlight Channel 4.
Think about it. You've got some great photos on your phone, but what are you doing with them? If you don't have Free Prints yet, you've got to get it. Free Prints is the free app for iPhone and Android that lets you print all those photos for free. You get 1,000 free 4x6 photo prints a year. All you pay is a small shipping charge. You can even print photos at other sizes for next to nothing. Using the Free Prints app is easy. Just select the photos you want to print, whether they're on your phone or on Facebook or Instagram. Choose the sizes, and you're done. Your premium quality free prints will arrive on your doorstep in just days. With more than 100,000 5-star reviews, Free Prints is one of the world's favorite apps. Download it now at freeprintsnow.com and start enjoying real professional quality free prints. The app is free and so are the prints. No subscriptions, no commitments, just free prints. Go to freeprintsnow.com to get the app and your 1,000 free prints. That's freeprintsnow.com.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food. Dynovite is nutrition.
Dynovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dynovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
If you're a small business, first impressions can make all the difference. With Grasshopper, you get all the features of a professional business phone system on your mobile phone. Choose a business phone number, make calls, and send texts. Stay connected and work from anywhere with features like Wi-Fi calling and our desktop app. Set up your account in minutes with no long-term contracts and 24/7 customer support. Make your small business big. Now get $20 off your first month when you visit grasshopper.com/phone. That's grasshopper.com/phone.
The Dave Nemo Show, 7 a.m. East.
Your talk and conversation open to everybody in trucking.
Road Dog Trucking Radio.
Welcome back. I'm Kevin Rutherford. We're going to get right back to the phones. 8888 Road Dog if you want to join us. Tad, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, it's such a dilemma. I want to go to Landstar so bad. I've got everything hooked up, but Man, I got 45 to walk in the door right now.
Let's do some quick numbers.
Wait a minute, and then they want 3 years. Go ahead.
Let's do some quick numbers. If you make all of the payments where you are currently, how much more will your total be that you have to pay them?
$1.
No. You still have 2 years worth of payments.
My payments? Oh no. I got 45 grand left.
Okay, so the only additional you're going to have is the interest on the loan, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
And how much? I think you threw out a number like $16,000.
Yeah, it's about $16,000 for 3 years. It's a 3-year. They want to give it to me at 3 years at $1,686 a month.
Yeah. So clearly that's a lot of interest. But you said your credit score's not stellar, and you're a first-time buyer. So I get it. That's just part of getting into business in this industry. But here's the thing. That's $6,000 a year. I have to believe you will blow that away with the rates going on at Landstar today rather than being stuck in a mileage contract for maybe 3 of the best years I've seen in trucking.
Absolutely. I've talked to Steve. Steve's been a big mentor for about 3-4 months now. He's got some stellar clients for me. It's just, he said, Tad, the way you are, motivated. He said, you're going to be popping 45 to 5 grand clear a week. And he said, you'll be able to pay that truck off in a year and a half. So, but my point being, I don't really give crap about that. It's just, the bottom line is, I just want my stuff done right. When I can't get correct answers, and I want to know how to categorize things right, and yet I look like an idiot. I know what I'm talking about. Just like I can't go and show $5,400. I canceled AT&T. Well, just put it down as all on your cell phone bill. Well, I can't show 10 grand worth of cell phone.
Actually, you could. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But I understand what you're saying, and this is why we brought it in-house. I mean, without beating a dead horse, I've been doing this since 1990, and, we thought it made sense to outsource it, and it just didn't.
I mean, I turned it all over. They whacked my stuff so bad for 3 months. I was negative 20,000 in the hole. I've never been negative. I got it all back under control, and I got it all where it is. But when I'm told I can't even get the right answer, is does DEF really got to be put under maintenance? Because that kills my maintenance bill.
Well, here,
but it's still, like you said, I'm at.
Let me address that, because again, I just like to keep things simple. You could put DEF under your telephone cost.
So don't I.
You can put any.
That's what I thought.
You can put any deduction anywhere you want it. You can put insurance under fuel if you want. You could put fuel under tolls if you want. You could put tolls, scales, and lumpers under insurance. Doesn't matter. It's all deductible at the exact same rate. So even if you were in an audit, and the IRS says, hey, wait a minute, why is this insurance receipt in fuel? I don't know. There's nothing they can do to you. It doesn't change the tax by 1 penny, and if you don't change the tax, they can't penalize you. So clearly we like to put things in certain categories for our own good, but we tell our clients, if you're the one doing the bookkeeping, put it wherever it makes sense to you. If we're doing your bookkeeping, your data entry, we have certain systems, and we're going to put it where we put it. But if you're doing your own, put it wherever you want it. Doesn't matter.
Well, like I said, Kevin, I have been following your program from the learning how to do it to spot on and categorize that. And when he tells me, well, I said, dude, the advances have to go under retainer. No,
yes. Now that's correct.
It is what it is. Now, what kind of garbage?
That's one that has to be done that way because it's not a deduction. So I know you're frustrated. We'll get you through that. We try to make this really, really simple. Because this doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes CPAs make things much more complicated than they need to be. And it just doesn't have to be that way. Our system is simple. We want to make sure it stays simple. Let's go to Ohio. Rick, welcome to the program.
Hi, Kevin. If it's all right, I wanted to drill down on this per diem thing a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm a company driver with a company that doesn't have a per diem program.
Okay.
I've heard you talk about per diem being paid by the company on a per mile basis. But would there be anything wrong with the company paying on a per day basis versus per mile?
Oh, no. In fact, that's the way it's really done, is per day. But the IRS long time ago actually said if it fits your industry, you can use any system you want as long as you don't overpay. So companies are allowed to use any kind of calculation they want as long as they don't overpay what is allowable. And in trucking, because we do everything by the mile, most trucking companies just say, hey, this is easy. We're just going to add X number of cents a mile. And they always go a little lower so they don't overpay it. But if you want to get the maximum benefit for both the company and the employee, you should be paying the full $63 a day that's allowed. And that's almost impossible to do under a mileage system because you never know.
Right. Yeah, and that was my concern because there's some days as a company driver I put in 250 miles, but I have a lot of working hours.
Right.
And then there's other days where I'm driving, say, 650 miles. Yeah. So there would be a disparity there for those that are working all day, but part of their wages is hourly and part of their wages is by the mile. And I know for 2017, I'm going to have about $21,000 in per diem at the 63 per day. I'm going to have a $21,000 write-off for that that's going to go away next year, and I'd hate to lose that on a mileage basis. I know anything's better than not losing it altogether, but I was just wondering, since you've only talked about per mile, I was wondering if the daily thing would work.
They can. Companies are allowed to come up with any system they want to pay per diem. They can pay it by the day, pay it by the hour, they can pay it by the week, they can pay it however they want. Ultimately, all we have to look out for is, and you already did the math, as long as your company didn't pay you more than the $21,000 of per diem, it doesn't matter how they could have cut you one check at the end of the year for that $21,000, and that would work too.
Okay.
So yeah, I talk about mileage because 99% of the carriers in this industry reimburse it as a mileage number, just because it's easy.
Right. Okay, well, that handles my question. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call. Let's head off to Idaho. Jeff, welcome to the program.
Hi, Kevin. Happy New Year's. How you doing?
Happy New Year. Doing great. What's on your mind today?
How about that stock market? Boy, thank you, Republican Party. Things are looking good for 2018. What do you think?
The stock market itself actually has me a little worried. Remember the whole, what was the phrase Greenspan used? Irrational exuberance?
We're in uncharted waters. It'll be interesting, but
we are. So I'm
looking good.
I don't do a lot in the market anymore. I used to talk about the market. I used to invest in the market. I've kind of changed my retirement. I'm investing in more practical stuff. Just because the market worries me. It's gotten so crazy over the last 15 years. So the market itself worries me. But we don't always have to tie the market to the economy. It's a good indicator, but there have been times when the market tanks a little bit or a lot, and the economy is still doing just fine. I'm really excited about the economy. Whether the market follows it or if we're on a bubble, I'm not even going to try to guess.
Well, this big, beautiful tax cut sure sounds a lot different than Armageddon. The way you're describing it, we're all going to benefit from this, and that's good. It's a great deal. I'm going to get on to my question here.
Okay.
I have some questions about what I can deduct in my own personal shop. I'm a small company owner of 2 trucks, 1 lease operator, and myself. I own my shop maintenance building in the Midwest, and spend, each week I probably put in 5 or 6 hours. This will be my first question. Washing, greasing, maintenance, try to do what I can at home to keep labor costs down, out of for hiring it done. What can I deduct any of my time for the 2-3 hours of washing, the half hour of greasing, things like that?
No, you can't. Let me explain why. Technically, you could, but it wouldn't do you any good. Now, I'll explain that when I get back, and then we'll talk about the best ways to get the biggest deduction when you have a space like that. There are some strategies, I'll call them, that we can really maximize the deduction. Stick around. We'll be right back. I'm Kevin Rutherford.
Road Dog Trucking Radio's Trucking Business and Beyond with Kevin Rutherford.
You name it, we'll talk about it. Tires, taxes, technology, money, health and fitness on the road, getting started as an owner-operator, finding freight. The show is about the business of trucking.
Keep the money you earn with Trucking Business and Beyond.
It's more than fuel. It's more than truck payments. It's more than maintenance. It's more than insurance.
Weeknights at 12 a.m.
Pick up the phone and ask the question
on Road Dog Trucking Radio.
When would you prefer to spot that burglar? While he's outside, casing your home? Or after he breaks in? The best home security is the one that protects you inside and outside. That's Blink Home Security. Most home security is slow and unreliable and goes off after he breaks in. Too late. Blink is proactive home security, which is why I have Blink. It's motion activated. The instant Blink detects some crook snooping around my home or looking in my car for the garage remote, I get an instant alert and a video clip on my smartphone. Blink helps stop the crime before it happens. Blink cams are wire-free, set up in minutes, and run on batteries you don't replace for years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor your home anywhere from your smartphone. Blink is offering an amazing deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys typically charge for 1, plus 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/news. Visit blinkprotect.com/news. Visit blinkprotect.com/news.
Owner-operators, does your truck need an engine overhaul but you lack the cash or credit? Is your bruised credit preventing a truck purchase or early lease buyout? Call CAG Truck Capital. Good credit, bad credit, startups, and even bankruptcy. Qualify for your loan over the phone at 800-932-CASH. 800-932-CASH. For simple, no-hassle engine overhaul or truck financing, call 800-932-CASH. Get the cash for your truck at 800-932-CASH.
Last year's breakthrough artists like Portugal the Man, Halsey, Carly Pierce, and Lil Uzi Vert broke through first on Sirius XM. And with over 75 commercial-free music channels to choose from, you're invited to start exploring. I've got no rules. Because your favorite song of 2018 is out there now, just waiting to be heard on Sirius XM.
I'm Todd Bork for the Weather Channel with an interstate weather update. Bitter cold temperatures east of the Rockies, so just keep that in mind if you do plan on stopping off anywhere. It's going to be bitter cold outside. Now, as long as precipitation is out there, not a lot, there's some. Looking at the north-south interstates, I-75 and I-95 in Florida, some spotty light rain showers. I-35 from Minnesota into Iowa, some spotty light snow showers. Same thing from I-29 from the Dakotas into Iowa. I-15, we have some higher elevation snow showers, and then some lower elevation drops of rain mixing in along I-15 from Montana, Idaho into Utah, and also some spotty light rain showers as far south as the deserts of California. I-5, some spotty rain showers in Washington State. And we also have some light rain out there along I-5 in central and southern parts of California. I'm Todd Bork with Custom Weather Driver's Choice down the road, dog, Sirius XM 146, and I'm the Sirius.
Your money, your taxes, your truck, and your road to success in the trucking industry. Now, back to Trucking Business and Beyond, the show that puts the money where it belongs, back in your pocket.
Welcome back. I'm Kevin Rutherford. We're going to get right back to the phones. 8888 Road Dogg. We've still got an hour of the show. Time to get through. Keep dialing. I'm going to go back to Idaho. So, Jeff, here's the thing. If you wanted to take a deduction for your time, you would also then have to claim income, because it's just like if somebody else came into the shop, you wouldn't donate your time to them. You would charge them for it. And that's what you would use to claim a deduction, but there would have to be revenue. Do you see what I'm saying? It's just a circular argument. So basically the IRS says, no, you can't ever deduct your own time. But all of your shop costs are clearly deductible. Now, one of the problems with this is you own the building and the land, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the problem with commercial property is I might get this number wrong, but you have to depreciate it over like 27 and a half years. So you get almost nothing for the cost of putting up a shop. The land you can't depreciate at all. There's no deduction for the cost of the land. And the building gets depreciated over, I think it's 27 and a half years. So it's almost nothing. But there is a way, and I can't get too deep into the rules, of if you have a corporation, and sometimes it's worth forming a corporation just for this, and you do what's called a lease back. So you own the property and the building, and you can't really depreciate it much, but you could always rent that to your corporation you get to set the rate, and the corporation gets to deduct all of that rental expense, and you only have to show it as passive income because it's rental real estate, meaning you avoid all the Social Security and Medicare tax on that money.
And that's what my accountant is doing now.
Oh, good.
My company, my LLC trucking company, is leasing or renting the building from me for $750 a month.
Yep, perfect.
And then I do deduct a portion of the electric, portion of the gas, the heated, tools, shop rags, brooms, whatever tools I think are for it. That's all legitimate?
Yeah, that's all legitimate. Your accountant's got this right.
Okay. My next question, Kevin, is I run from the Midwest, Minnesota to Oregon and back. And my trips, I can never log them. Used to be able to squeak them in just barely. Now with electronic logbooks, I am running out of hours en route home. So I've got to take a 34-hour restart. And I am in a situation where I don't have all my equipment's paid for. I don't know anything. And I thought, I'm going to be sitting in Wyoming or South Dakota for a day and a half doing nothing. I don't like playing pinball. I don't think I'd be good at panhandling. So I've chose to build another shop on my route to travel. So when I run out of hours, I can at least go to my building and do maintenance on my truck en route.
Okay.
Can I rent another building?
Yes.
From myself?
Yep.
In this case?
Yeah, you could rent as many of them as you wanted. Now, just out of curiosity, instead of a 34-hour restart, would you be better off on the recap instead?
I don't think I can. The trip's about an 8-day trip, and I just can't. I run out of hours, and
got it.
Western South Dakota, Eastern. I just can't do it. A lot of times I'll go to Seattle, down to Southern Oregon, and then back. You can't do the trip.
Got it. Yeah.
4 times a month, sit for a day and a half and do absolutely nothing. I thought I'd be constructive, and the building's, it's going to be about $300,000. It's in an expensive part of the country. And I'm talking to my accountant about, I don't want to buy any more equipment.
Right.
I don't want to write off another truck. I'm fine with my equipment. So can I basically set my rental price at the region I'm in?
Yep, absolutely. And, they always tell us, it's got to be fair market value kind of thing. But I will tell you, anytime there's no absolute number with the IRS, we can play with that number a lot. So, because they can't really argue. I mean, I could go find a shop that, maybe it's worth $2 million and I have to spend $2,000 a month to rent it. That's not out of the question. So we can set rental rates to favor us. I don't have a problem with that at all. And here's the other thing. I'm with you. Buying trucks to get a tax break is a lousy idea because trucks depreciate horribly. Buying real estate to get a tax break is a great idea because most of the time it appreciates.
I looked at a building in the area, and it was like $1,800 a month. It would have suited me, but I started to do the math, and why should I pay someone $1,800 a month? Why don't I just build my own and have that asset when I'm done?
I agree, because it not only, if you have the financial ability, and it sounds like you do, not only do you have an asset that appreciates, if something changes, you have an asset you could rent if you had to and generate revenue with.
Exactly. And it'll go, in comparison to a truck, it will go up in value, not down.
Exactly. So I like your thinking, and you're spot on with this.
Are you getting excited about Louisville yet?
I'm always excited to go out and hang out with people and, shake hands and answer questions, but I can't even keep track anymore. I think I'm on like 27 years now, so it's a little harder to get excited. The other thing with me and truck shows right now is I have some really exciting projects that I'm working on, and I want to finish because I have so many of them, and I am excited about what's going on in the industry. So for me to lose a week, which is what I'm going to lose, plus I have 2 or 3 speaking engagements in the first quarter, which I normally don't do, but there's so much going on in the industry. I keep getting invitations. And, we're in one of those times in the industry where, you put a price out for somebody thinking it's outrageous and they won't do it, and then they do it. So that's kind of how I was treating speaking engagements. If somebody asked me, I just gave them a kind of an outrageous price. Nobody's balking at it right now. So looks like I'm going to be doing some speaking engagements in the first quarter. So it's all good. I'm certainly not complaining, and I am looking forward to Louisville, yes.
Well, I'm sure we'll see you down there. I'll probably have a few more questions. I just want one follow-up question on my company checkbook writing me a check for rent. Say if the cumulative comes to $2,000 a month. I do not have to claim that as income?
No, you do. You claim it.
Use it.
Yeah, you would file a Schedule E in your personal income tax return, and that's rental real estate. And you still pay income tax on it, but you don't pay any Social Security or Medicare. So all of the money that you're able to take in as rental is 100% deduction for your corporation, and you avoid 15.3% of the Social Security and Medicare. So that's where the savings comes in.
How do you beat that?
You can't. It's a wonderful loophole. Yeah, if you're a sole proprietor and you put up a building for maintenance, you get screwed because you can't depreciate the land, and the building, you get so little depreciation. That's why good accountants, and it sounds like you have one, figured out this whole leaseback thing. It works great.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much, Kevin. Good talking, and you take care.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call. Let's head off to Iowa. Matt, welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, Kevin.
What's on your mind today?
Did you get an answer on the KYU? You were talking about that. I was just getting out of the truck to get fuel, so...
Oh, well, I'm glad I caught you.
No, any calls on it?
Nobody else has called in to help me out with that one.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, there's never a simple way to Google government websites, because anytime you ask a tax question in Google, you're going to get about 40 ads before you can actually get to a true website. You got to actually look at the web address.
Yeah.
But it basically all it is that's your KYU.
Right.
If he already got a KYU number, he's already set up. You can set up an online account. Kentucky's actually pretty good. They email you every quarter when it's due, at the beginning of the month, and then they'll send you a reminder email in the middle of the month. So, but I have the website right here is drive.ky.gov.
That's easy
So
enough.
that's their whole Department of Transportation website. There's a motor carrier section there, and they'll see everything you need.
All right, hold that thought. I'm sure there's more I want to talk to you about, but I've got to get to a break. We'll come right back. We'll do that right after this. Stick around. I'm Kevin Rutherford.
To be free. This is the year for God to act.
Start your year with inspiring messages of hope on SiriusXM's Joel Osteen Radio.
You're going to feel a new sense of joy, a new passion for your life.
Discover your new beginning.
Our God is more powerful than any sickness, any depression, any person, any hater. Every chain will be broken. Every limitation will be loosed.
Joel Osteen Radio, SiriusXM 128.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-700-9920. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-700-9920. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-700-9920. 1-800-700-9920.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hi, I'm Brandon Burchard. I have a tough but honest question for you. Have you noticed some people achieving way more than you, and it really bothers you? Why are some people getting ahead while you feel like you're fighting so hard? You're good, so what's the difference between achievers and high performers? Well, I've got 6 reasons and a quiz for you. Text the word change to 642-642 right now and get a copy of my new book, High Performance Habits, and I'll give you a free $97 assessment. You'll get 6 scores that pinpoint why you struggle and exactly which new habits you should adopt right now. I spent 20 years studying high performers. My new book, High Performance Habits, reveals the difference between doing okay and living an extraordinary life. Text CHANGE to 642-642 to get my new book and take the free $97 performance assessment. High Performance Habits. That's my new book. You'll love it. New habits, new you. That's CHANGE to 642-642.
What if we told you there's a quick, easy way to get rid of the daily hassles of contacts and glasses? And even better, what if LASIK Plus is offering LASIK starting at just $250 per eye? Well, it's all true. All thanks to LASIK Plus. For a limited time only, LASIK Plus can help fix your vision starting at just $250 per eye. Our lowest price ever. Click or call 844-LASIK Plus to schedule your free LASIK exam. Results may vary. Restrictions apply. See details at LASIK250.com.
If you got it, I'll bet just about anything that a truck brought it. Road Dog Trucking Radio. Sirius XM.
Welcome back. I'm Kevin Rutherford. The number to join us, 8888 Road Dog. I'm going to go back to Iowa. So, Matt, that's a pretty straightforward. It's just miles times a rate, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, Kentucky, I mean, they have, on your IFTA report, they also have the fuel surcharge.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's right.
On IFTA, there's 2 lines on there for the regular fuel tax and the surcharge, and then they also have this weight and distance tax.
Yeah, okay. Got it. Thanks for that.
And that it's completely separate, but yeah, it's all real easy to do online.
So,
and that's really the only one I do anymore. I don't run New York or New Mexico.
You should come out here.
Arkansas has an ad valorem tax.
You should come out here to Oregon once in a while to see me.
Yeah. It sounds like somebody needs to come out there and pump everybody's gas.
Yeah, that's right. So, hey, I'm looking at your business report. I think that's what Lisa sent over to me here. Yeah, there we go.
So Yep, it's 2 years put together, so you got 16 and 17.
Yeah.
Mileage is almost identical, 118,000 and then 120,000 miles for the year. So 2016, my gross, $1.55 a mile. And I knew, that was going to improve just of things that were improving over time.
Right.
But it improved by more than I expected it.
A lot.
Was at $2.06 a mile.
That's
for 2017.
And that's all miles. That's every mile you put on the truck.
Yep.
So, yeah. So I just want people to understand that when we talk about numbers from profit gauges, we track every mile that gets put on the truck, whether it's going to the shop, deadhead, bobtail, whatever. So 206, all miles on the truck is outstanding.
Personal conveyance?
Right, yeah, personal conveyance, yeah. Yeah. And your net looks pretty darn good, too.
Profit. Yeah. I had a goal many years ago that's what I wanted to get to was the $2 a mile on the gross, and, we've always talked about 50% ratio.
Right.
Expenses versus net. And that's actually, I've been at that 50% ratio for a couple of years. I just finally got the revenue up to get that $1 a mile net. Actually, 102 for this year.
That magic number that I love seeing. 2 of them. One, true $1 a mile net after all expenses, and you actually did almost $122,000 in net revenue. That is fantastic.
Yep.
And 2018 looks like it could be even better. I mean, things could always change, but, 2017 was a pretty good year. 2018 looks like it's getting better. Have you sent your personal thank you note to President Trump yet? Because you're probably getting about, a $9,000 tax cut?
Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm very excited for 2018.
Yeah, I did the spreadsheet, but I only put in up to $100,000 net, and that was about a $7,000 tax savings. I guess I'll have to go put in another line for $125,000 net.
Yeah, and here's the amazing part. Actually, my expenses were up in 2017. If you remember, the first half of the year was horrible for me.
Yeah, I do remember.
I believe somewhere around the middle of the year I called. I was at like 56 cents a mile on maintenance.
I remember. Yeah. I thought it was a mistake the first time I saw it.
For the year, I got it down to 38. The year before it was at 15. So there's 20 cents more a mile should have went in my pocket.
Yeah. Yeah, which is really exciting. And to see what's going on with rates right now. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I read an article. It just, I've seen company after company after company giving bonuses, raises. Apple is talking about repatriating $200 billion, bringing it back into the United States and paying tax on it. So, I mean, that's going to be a whole bunch of tax going to the IRS, but it's a lot less under this new tax bill, and they want to bring that cash back in. So I posted that. I said, look, more good news. You know, Apple's going to bring $200 billion back to the country. The first response was, well, 15 trillion get traded every day, so $200 billion is nothing to get excited about. What? What? $200 billion.
Yeah.
$200 billion, I have to say, still excites me.
Yeah, it's you know, it's a little bit of pocket change even for a big company.
That's a big number. And if Apple is doing it, how many other companies might do it?
Oh, they're just, yeah. How many worldwide companies that are based in the U.S. have, I've heard numbers over the years, and it's trillions of dollars. I mean, I've heard 13, 15, and 18 trillion.
Well, you're right
even
there.
If we just round it down to 10, you know, just pick an even number. $10 trillion that American companies have in cash sitting in offshore accounts that they don't want to bring into the United States because of the tax. Well, it just dropped by 10%. That's a huge incentive to bring it in.
Yes, your number was really accurate. I think the most accurate prediction right now is about 15 trillion sitting outside the country that is doing nothing for our economy. But if it comes back, and it looks like it's starting to already, but, you know, $200 billion, nothing to get excited about. That was the first comment. I almost fell over.
Yeah. There's a little carryover from Rico's show the other night. There's actually something we should be careful about, everybody on their own authority. These high-paying loads right now, we got to realize some of these brokers, they're under a contract to move this stuff. And some of them are losing money on these loads right now. So watching your days to pay and the credit rating on the brokers is in the environment that we're in right now, brokers could be going broke very quickly.
You know, you make
going bankrupt.
You make a really good point. And you know, you and I have talked about this. I've talked about it many times. The broker's not the enemy. They're not out there ripping everybody off all the time. They're just another business. They have the same issues we do. They're trying to make profit. They want to make as much as they can, just like we do. But they have that risk. If they locked in a contract and rates go through the roof, they are in trouble. They're going to be hurting. But that could happen to a small carrier. If you locked in a contract, you know, at a certain rate, but even with a small carrier, it's not as much risk. You're still getting paid for the work you're doing. For the broker, it could be an absolute loss. They only get paid X, and they have to pay out double that sometimes. Here's another thing, and that was a really, really good point on Rico's part. So, you know, that's why his show is really worth listening to, because he covers a lot of that stuff. That's a good point, that you better be paying attention to your brokers and don't let somebody get too far out ahead of you, and don't let them get too far behind on paying invoices, because there is going to be more brokers struggling with that. There's also another good point to be made here. I said this the other day. You know, there's a phrase in investing that pigs get fat, but hogs get slaughtered. And what that means is don't get too greedy. You know, in investing, people get too greedy, and then they get wiped out. And what I would caution people on right now, I'll steal Alan Greenspan's line again, irrational exuberance around rates. And I'm guilty of it too. I get excited about seeing these rates. I love this. But we have to take a step back and say, yeah, there are loads being posted at ridiculous rates right now. This is not the time to try to stick it to your customers. This is not the time to say, oh boy, I have all the negotiating power and I'm going to take it and use it. This is the time to be reasonable, absolutely get a good rate, but solve problems for people, don't get greedy, and build really, really good relationships right now, because this will change. I don't know when, but it will change. And this is the time where you don't want to be a hog.
Yeah, and that was another thing. Dave Ramsey, debt-free, I'm not 100% debt-free, but responsible. Now's the time to pay off stuff and get out of debt. Not go out and buy all brand new equipment.
That's another really good point. You're right. Hey, great stuff as always. I'm going to get to a break. We're going to come back and get to more of your calls right after this. Stick around. I'm Kevin Rutherford.
Sirius XM Road Dog Trucking. An insightful and informed look at the trucking industry.
The reason they're in this trouble is because of poor maintenance, and the first thing they do is fire their mechanics.
Current events and social issues.
Well, it's also the way you move your country forward. Educate your kids.
And business strategies for any owner-operator.
Are we trying to accomplish getting a truck on the road at the cheapest price possible? No, that's short-term thinking, and it will kill you in the long run.
For everything trucking, it's Road Dog Trucking Radio on Sirius XM. We know you.
Truck drivers, Schneider is offering more types of driving careers than ever in 2018 and will be holding hiring events nationwide in January. Meet one-on-one with a local recruiter with the potential for a same-day interview. And with orientation classes starting every week, you can start quickly with Schneider, an ELD-compliant industry leader. Find a January driver hiring event near you and learn what to expect at the event at schneiderjobs.com/events. That's schneiderjobs.com/events.
Owner-operators, does your truck need an engine overhaul but you lack the cash or credit? Is your bruised credit preventing a truck purchase or early lease buyout? Call CAG Truck Capital. Good credit, bad credit, startups, and even bankruptcy. Qualify for your loan over the phone at 800-932-CASH. 800-932-CASH. For simple, no-hassle engine overhaul or truck financing, call 800-932-CASH. Get the cash for your truck at 800-932-CASH.
Are you a professional truck driver looking for better pay and frequent home time? Look no further than Rail Transport. Rail currently has openings for dedicated dry van, refrigerated, and flatbed drivers in select cities across the country. These positions offer high earnings, weekly home time, and pay based on practical route miles. To learn more about driving opportunities in your area, visit rail.jobs today. That's ROEHL.jobs. Or call us at 888-356-1142.
At WeatherTech, we make things right, because to us, it's the only way to do it. I'm David McNeil, founder of WeatherTech. When creating floor liners and cargo liners and various other automotive accessories for your vehicle, we start by designing products that fit perfectly. Then we source the highest quality materials possible, manufacturing them by using the latest technology, and hire hard-working Americans who take pride in what they do, and that means everything to us. To learn more, go to WeatherTech.com or call 1-800-CarMats. WeatherTech, made right here in America.
I'm Todd Bork, the Weather Channel with an interstate weather update. Take a look at the east-west interstates, mainly east of the Rockies. We're fairly dry, but extremely cold out there, as we have many areas dealing with the bitter cold temperatures. So just keep that in mind no matter where you are. Now, we do have a couple areas with some scattered light snow showers, particularly along I-94 and parts of Wisconsin, Minnesota, into North Dakota, as well as I-90 in those same states. I-80, some spotty light snow showers in Iowa as well as Nebraska. Illinois could get in on the action as well. Elsewhere along I-90, we have some spotty light rain, snow showers from Montana and parts of Washington State. I-84, we have some rain and snow in parts of Utah as well as Idaho. I-80 also some rain and snow from Wyoming and parts of California. I'm Todd Bork with Custom Weather Drivers Choice now on the Road Dog. Sirius XM 146. Now on the Sirius is Matt.
Welcome back. I'm Kevin Rutherford. The number to join us, 8888 Road Dog. Still some time to get through. We've got about a half hour left in the show. Keep dialing. I'll try to get to as many calls and questions as I can. Rick in Michigan, you're up. Welcome to the program.
Happy New Year, Kevin. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. Happy New Year.
I own 2 trucks. Oh, thank you. I own 2 trucks. I own one outright, and I'm leasing one. The one I own outright, I bought in 2016 and sunk about $5,000 into it and drove it across the country to take it home, and it's been sitting ever since. What I plan on going home in February. I'm going to work on and get it up and running. What do I need to look for when I start working on that truck to get it back on the road?
You mean like maintenance-wise?
Yeah, maintenance-wise. And I know it's probably going to have some troubles for sitting for a year.
No, you know, it's surprising. I know we think that's kind of, I think it's a holdover from a long time ago. I see vehicles sit a lot and not have any problems whatsoever. There really isn't that much you have to look at, especially at 2016. I mean, the newer and newer trucks have less and less maintenance issues. Now, I say that, I'm not talking about emissions kind of stuff. We're still dealing with some of that. But all the materials we use to build trucks, the engineering, the machining, everything has gotten better. I mean, I'll give you a good example. The last truck I bought that I used as kind of a project truck was a 99 tractor. It was titled new in 99. A company put like 700,000 miles on it in like 4 to 5 years. They ran it as a team. Somebody bought it at 700,000 miles in like 2004, somewhere around there. In 2014, I bought the truck, and it only had like 50,000 more miles on it than it had back in 2004, 10 years later. It sat most of that time. I had almost no problems. I mean, it was surprising how well that truck held up. And that was a 99. Today's trucks, they can sit and sit and sit and sit, and almost nothing deteriorates. Seals used to deteriorate. We have much better materials now. Wiring harnesses used to, not so much anymore. Hoses, all the things that used to deteriorate really don't. And a year is nothing. And I'll give you another example. I have a coach that I travel in, you know, a good-sized coach. And it sits sometimes 4, 5, 6 months at a time. And then I'll use it for a couple weeks, and then it sits again. And that's common in RVs. They're just fine, though. So they're really, I mean, I would just do a really good, thorough pre-trip, basically. I mean, on a pre-trip, we're looking at just about everything that's important anyway.
Right. Well, it's a 95.
Oh, I thought.
And the engine is
I'm sorry.
really
you said
rusty.
you bought it in 2016. I thought it was a 2016.
No, I bought it in 2016, but it's
a 95. Got it. That changes my mind a little bit.
Okay.
I for some reason I took that as it was a newer truck of 2016. I would be a little more thorough then. I would check the date on the tires, and if their manufacture date is more than 5 years, no matter what they look like, I would get rid of them, because though that is one thing that still deteriorates. If tires sit, especially if they're outside and they're exposed to the sun, they deteriorate quite a bit. So I have a pretty rock-solid rule. If a tire has a manufacture date older than 5 years, I usually just get rid of it. I hate tire problems. Belts, hoses, electrical. I would do a really good, thorough electrical. Make sure, sometimes you get mice up in there and they'll chew insulation off wires. I would look for that kind of stuff. Mostly, you're looking visual. I I would put some oil in it, run it up to temperature, and take an oil sample, and we'll be able to tell a lot about what's going on in the engine. And I would do, if you're good with a multimeter, I would just do a lot of good electrical checks, and I would clean up all the grounds that are on there now, like pull the grounds off, grind them all back down to bare metal, reattach all the grounds, a lot of dielectric grease, and I may even add a ground or two. Because those are the kind of problems you're most likely to see are any rubber parts and electrical.
Okay. And my lease truck, I signed a 4-year lease. They usually take the trucks back after 3 years. And I have a balloon payment at the end of the lease of $68,000. I'm thinking about finishing out the lease and paying the balloon payment to own the truck. Or I've also been thinking about calling them up and seeing about an early buyout.
Okay.
Would that be...
It might be a good idea. I don't know. It's a numbers game. So here's what I would do. I would take your truck specs, all the information about your truck, and you could do this today, and go onto a site like truckpaper.com. And on truckpaper.com, you can do a detailed search. So I can put in the year, the make, the model, the transmission, the horsepower, the miles, the rear end rate. I can put in all the information I know about my own truck and then hit search. And it'll tell me what I could buy that truck for right now. It'll give me good averages. There's going to be some high, some low, but it'll give you a good idea what that truck is worth on the open market today. Or you could do it at the end of a lease, because my guess is that at the end of a 4-year lease, there aren't many trucks that are worth anywhere near $68,000. That sounds like
that's what I was thinking.
That sounds like a really, really high buyout. And here's the thing. If you're sitting there at the end of your lease looking at your truck that you have to give them $68,000 for, or you can go buy another one for $53,000, why would we ever give them $68,000?
Right. Okay. So to think about.
Yeah, it's really just numbers.
I did.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe your truck will be worth $60,000. Now, if the average price on the market for a truck just like yours at the end of the lease is $65,000, then I'd give them $68,000 because I'd rather spend $68,000 on something I know than $65,000 on something I don't.
Yeah, it's 2017, and I did go online and look up 2017 trucks, same make, and they're going for like 115, 120.
Well, that would be what your current buyout is, not the $68,000 at the end of the lease. So you'd have to call the carrier and find out what your current buyout is, to compare that number.
Right. Well, I just did that to get a ballpark figure of what they go for right now.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you should be doing. Those are the kind of numbers you need to be comparing if you decide to either want to buy it out early or make that same comparison at the end. Let's go to Nevada. Kevin, welcome to the program.
Hello, how are you doing today? Hey, I had I'm bouncing stuff off my brain and that driving me nuts and driving my friends nuts. So I'm with Landstar. I'm doing great. I feel I'm doing great over here. But I feel if I got my own authority, I wouldn't be paying 28%. And I could do it for cheaper than that. With everything, the way everything's going right now. I've been here 5 years. I like Landstar and that, but I just think 28%. If I had my own authority, I think I could do better.
I don't disagree. Not at all. I like Landstar a lot. Always have. I've been working with them for a couple decades. And like you said, you've been there 5 years, you like it. But if you're willing to do the things it takes to get your own authority, and it's not that bad. It's easier than it's ever been. Technology makes it easier. Rates are great today Brokers and shippers are screaming for trucks. So if you ever were going to do it, this is a great time. And you're right, that 28%. Now, I think they earn their money. They do a lot of work for that money, so I don't have a problem with it. But you have an opportunity to capture that other 28%. And if you're willing to do it, yeah, you can make more money doing it.
That, and I have an appointment next Wednesday with truckstop.com. All the music.
Yep, there's the music. I'll put you on hold. I'll come back to you. I'm glad you've got a truck appointment with truckstop.com. That's awesome. We'll talk about that and more when we get back. Stick around. I'm Kevin Rutherford.
Golden Globes Week on Entertainment Weekly Radio. Get ready for one of the biggest award shows of the year with exclusive interviews from nominees like Aaron Sorkin, Allison Janney, and James Franco.
This was my story in more ways than one.
Plus the cast of your favorite nominated TV shows like The Crown, This Is Us, and Stranger Things.
Am I going to be here? Am I going to die? Like, I didn't know what was going on. Like, it's not that big, but everyone knows except you.
Golden Globes Week continues throughout the weekend on EW Radio, Sirius XM 105, or listen on the Sirius XM app.
Message and data rates may apply.
Warning. Texting while driving is illegal just about everywhere. So if you want to take advantage of a life-changing LASIK offer, pull over when you can, because a special opportunity is just one text away. The LASIK Vision Institute is offering absolutely free evaluations and dramatically low prices on high-quality LASIK. Text the keyword CLEAR22 to 350350 to get the benefit of FDA-approved LASIK technology that gives the majority of patients 20/20 vision for a fraction of what others charge. Text to schedule your free appointment to see if LASIK is right for you. When you text CLEAR22 to 350350, you'll also get an extra 20% discount off our already low-cost services. We've already performed over 1 million procedures. Today, it's your turn. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you've always wanted for a fraction of what others charge. This great offer is just a text away. Text CLEAR22 to 350350. That's CLEAR22 to 350350.
Do you have sleep apnea? Are you tired of dragging your big, bulky CPAP device with you whenever you leave home? Yeah, well, I was too. That's why I'm so glad I called to try the Transcend Mini CPAP for 10 nights. I can't imagine living without it now. My Transcend is smaller than a soda can and weighs less than a pound. That's less hassle to carry than my shaving kit. Plus, I was able to add a battery pack that's as tiny as a deck of cards. But hey, that's not all. Transcend is FAA compliant, too, which means I can finally sleep comfortably while flying. Heck, I can sleep comfortably anywhere now. So if that all sounds good to you, call now to give Transcend a try. You'll be glad you did.
Experience the life-changing freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere thanks to Transcend, the world's very first mini CPAP. To receive your risk-free 10-night trial, call now. 1-800-900-8313. Again, that's 1-800-900-8313. 1-800-900-8313.
I'm Trina.
And I'm Dan. We're the founders of Z Quiet. Let me be honest, I snored.
Yeah, he did. Crazy loud.
I tried everything, including surgery to solve my snoring problem, but nothing worked.
We knew there had to be a better solution, and we found it. Go to GetZQuiet.com.
Z Quiet is so easy to wear and works right out of the box.
Over 1 million men and women have kicked snoring out of bed thanks to Z Quiet, and you can too.
Get $20 off today when you try Z Quiet. Just go to GetZQuiet.com. That's GetZQuiet.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
At 7 a.m. East, it's the Dave Nemo Show.
With news, traffic, and weather updates, we'll get you where you need to be.
Exclusively.
Welcome back. I'm Kevin Rutherford. We're down to the final segment. I'm going to get right back to the calls. I was talking with Kevin in Nevada. So, Kevin, here's something to think about. You know, when rates are kind of in the tank and there's not a lot of freight around, being with Landstars can be a huge advantage because they have lots of agents, they have lots of contracts, and sometimes, they've contracted at a nice rate and then the rates go down, but you're still getting that old rate. That's a wonderful thing. But when we're in this environment,
correct,
you can actually get hurt because they have a bunch of rates that were contracted and they're stuck with, and spot market stuff is going through the roof. So a lot of times business is just about timing. Something I said 2 years ago that may have been a good idea then, well, everything's changed. So I think your timing is right. You've been with Landstar for a good 5 years, but there's another big opportunity out there right now. So if you're willing to go grab it, I think it's a great idea.
Well, yeah, I jumped the gun a little bit. I did the LLC before the end of the year. I'm not at 60,000. I'm not at 80,000. But I don't run that hard right now. I only did 60,000, 65,000 miles for the year. And my taxable income before I do my house mortgage and that is 55,000.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm doing really well at Landstar, but I just think that 28% and everything, I think I could do it for less.
Yeah.
And I'd still be a Landstar approved carrier.
Well, exactly. Right.
If I had to, go back over there.
Yeah, it's like the best of both worlds. You can still get freight from them. And I think, and I've always said, Landstar is a good learning experience. And for some people, it's where they want to spend the rest of their career. It's very common. Guys that have been over there forever and will be. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's also a good kind of springboard, which is what you've done. You were there for 5 years. You've learned about managing your own time and choosing your own loads and building relationships. And now there's another piece of this business that you could go capture.
And I got on truckstop.com with one of my buddies that has his own authority. Put me on as a child, on there with my LLC name on there. And I kind of screwed up because I had 3 agents call me because I posted my truck where I live empty. Not realizing what I did.
Oh, yeah.
The next day they're calling me, hey, are you still in? And I'm like, I apologize. I can't take your load. And I had explained everything. But I got contacts already from people with not even having the authority.
Right. Right, which is exactly why, and both of all the load boards, but the 2 big ones really have a problem with this. People always ask me, why do I have to have my authority just to get a contract or the service on the load board? And this is why. If you
pull a Kevin from Landstar, this is why.
That's right. That's why, because they have a big problem with that.
They took it okay. I explained who I was with and what I was doing and that. And they said, okay, no problem. I said, I'm sorry I'm wasting your time. And I realized that the first guy was saying, did you get a truck out of the town I'm at? And he said it 4 times. I'm like, huh? And I dawned on him, oh, shoot, I'm sorry.
Right. Well, I'm glad you've got an appointment with them.
Okay,
take advantage of it. Spend as much time with them on the phone. There's a lot to learn about their system. So take your time and learn it. It's an awesome system.
They're going to go over that and all the services that they can provide. They're going to go over with me on Wednesday.
Yep. Good stuff.
So, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call. Let's head off to Tennessee. Brandon, welcome to the program.
How are you this evening?
Good. What can I help you with?
I was just kind of curious with all these changes and everything for the 2018 tax year with the personal employment tax. Have we lost our flexibility on that? Is it pretty rigid as to how much we're going to have to claim there?
Well, you're going to have to explain to me what you're talking about. Personal employment tax?
Right. Well, the Medicare and Social Security tax.
Self-employment tax.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, using the wrong term on you.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Nothing changed. Nothing changed about self-employment tax at all. The only real difference for an owner-operator is that we get that 20% pass-through deduction before we have to pay the Social Security and Medicare. So the way a pass-through works is on a Schedule C, you start with your gross revenue. Then you start taking all your deductions, fuel, maintenance, tolls, scales, office, all that stuff, and you get down to a net number. And then it used to be that we would have to pay Social Security and Medicare on that net number. Now we get to take a 20% deduction.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that something else was going on, too. I don't completely understand it with my accountant, but in some way she was controlling the percentage that actually paid the self-employment tax.
Are you a corporation?
Yes.
That's how she was doing it then. And that's common, and that's what we do, and that's what I talk about, that 65,000 kind of number. Because what you do is, as a sole proprietor, you pay self-employment tax on the net. That's it. Across the board, no breaks. As a corporation, you have to pay yourself a salary, and we get to pick that number. We have to be reasonable, but the lower we make the salary, the less we have to pay into Social Security and Medicare. And what's left over, what profit is left over after we pay our own wage, we pay income tax on the money that's left over, but we don't pay Social Security or Medicare. So if we make our wage smaller, then we save more money. But we still get to keep all the money. It's all ours. It's just how we get taxed on it. So that's what she's doing. Now, the IRS says you have to be reasonable about your salary. You know, you can't say you drove 120,000 miles for your corporation last year and you only made $10,000. They're not going to let you get away with that. We'd love to do that because we'd save more tax, but they're not going to let us get away with that. So I usually say, look, if you're driving the truck and you ran the average number of miles, let's take a salary of about 40 or 45,000. That's reasonable. The IRS is never going to argue with us about that. And if we made 65 profit, we take 45 as a wage, that's $20,000 we don't have to pay Social Security or Medicare on. That's a pretty significant savings.
Okay, so with that, the 20% doesn't affect that at all.
Well, it does. I'm waiting to get the final forms on this, so we actually see the calculations. But the reason that it affects it is I use that 65 as kind of a benchmark. And here's why. So let's say it's 65, you pay 45, we have 20 that we don't pay self-employment tax on. So that's a savings of roughly to about $6,000. But we also have the cost of forming the corporation. We have to do payroll, so we're probably going to pay somebody to do that, so that's a new cost. We have our filing fees every year. We have our corporate tax return. So we're going to spend several $1,000s a year to have this corporation. So our $6,000 savings all of a sudden becomes maybe $3,000. That's still good. But if you only made 50 and we took 40 as a salary or 45, there's not enough savings. Why bother? Well, what's changed now is that 80, you might have to net 80 to start paying tax on 65. That's why I want to wait and see the final forms on this so we know how that's really going to work. So what I'm telling people, you're already a corporation, so it doesn't matter. I'm telling people don't incorporate right away because you may not need to anymore. So I'd love to incorporate all the owner-operators. If they're our clients, then we make more money, but that's not the best thing for them. So I'm telling people what's best right now is to just wait a little bit on this whole corporate issue because we're just not sure of the numbers. But this is something I'm staying on top of. I'm watching. I'll put out some calculators, and when I come up with that new number, then I'll let everybody know. like I said, there's enough information here. I'm actually going to be putting out a little booklet in electronic format in the next couple of weeks. I'd really like to get it all done and wrapped up before the end of January. And I'm hoping we get some more guidance from the IRS on some of the finer details about this. All right, I am all out of time. I've got to get out of here. We'll see you next time. Be safe, be profitable, be fit and healthy. If you need tax help, call us. Go to the website, letstruck.com, 855-800-FUEL, 855-800-3835. Be safe, be profitable, be fit and healthy, and master the journey. I'm Kevin Rutherford.
Listening to Road Dog Trucking Radio.